Yeah. OnChain Revolution, you're not bullish enough. OnChain Revolution, you're not bullish enough. Every day we steady looking at the market, and we gon' tell you how to get started. Chain abstraction, fear and greed index, always looking at price action. Roll call in advance, you don't even gotta mention. I swap it in the deck, you're not bullish enough. Traded in the segs, you ain't trenching enough. We do that market recap. Too much Bitcoin, gotta go to rehab. Shizzy and Yagobi. OnChain Revolution, network in the art. Every day we go live, baby, you know where we are. We mention all the networks and the crypto. Need some more liquidity. Flipping and trading is the recipe. Too many protocols to count. I get high and I'm never coming down. Number go up, then I'ma say peace. Yeah, you thought that I was gonna leave. Yeah, we just getting started, man. OnChain Revolution. Every day. Bring the beat back. Eyes everywhere, gotta be careful with volatile meme coins. You can get some bread if you round trip it, then you gon' regret. All this information in my head. BYOR, touch grass instead. Nobody really knows how it's gonna end up today. Somebody gotta tell you what's happening today. I don't let the money change me no way. OnChain Revolution, here to stay. Yeah, say I'm Sage, man. Voodoo 2 on the way. Yeah. Nicky's. Yeah. OnChain Revolution. OnChain. Hey, OnChain Revolution. Bitcoin not an illusion. Market recap, then I do a roll call. You're not bullish in the vocal. Look at the price action, changing. Yeah, send it to the deck. Yeah, sell it through the spec. Order knows the best. Too much Bitcoin, gotta go to read. If you end up bearish, gotta put the knee pad. Let me see the comments. Look at the fear and greed index. Bridge. Look at the chart.
Welcome back to OnChain Revolution. My name is Shizzy, and trying to recover the entire Bitcoin crypto ecosystem. What is up, guys? We have an amazing show for you guys today. We're live from the OnChain Hour, and we got Bitcoin sitting at 107,590. We got above 108 today. We got above 108.2, maybe 108.3, and then came back down to about 107.2, and now we're ranging right now between 107 and 108. This is really big because we are now entering the next leg up. In my opinion, we're about to enter a point of bullishness to where we liquidate James Wynn again and again and again. I'm just kidding, but him and Capo are shorting while everyone else is longing. We'll see what happens with that. We got a lot to talk about today. Obviously, huge news with the Spurs and Ledger, and you might say, well, Crypto.com, they're part of the NBA, but it hasn't been a deal for a long time now, especially with teams themselves. We did see Coinbase partner with NBA, but we haven't seen any companies really partner with outside of public traded companies, right? So really looking forward to that. And then Robinhood, the CEO, goes all in on crypto. He says all the assets on Robinhood will eventually be digital assets, meaning all crypto products. So really excited for that. We got some other stuff here as well. Polymarket. We're going to go through some interest rate stuff and a lot of different charts. So without further ado, bring my partner in here, as always, Mr. Yagobi. What's up, buddy?
What's up, man?
How you feeling today?
I'm feeling great. So the bullish price action has continued. We reached 108 today, which was really good to see. Still a little bit of indecisiveness, I think, in the global tensions, but it's better than where we were right this past weekend. There is some bullish news. The biggest thing that I'm really kind of starting to notice more and more is the mainstream adoption that's kind of subtly happening, right? They're in headlines, whether it's Robinhood CEO or Ledger or MasterCard. People got to realize that these are big deals, even though like it's not being super magnified, So that's what we're here to do, is kind of just let you guys know, hey, look, this is happening, maybe passively in the background, but they're big moves and big changes for mainstream adoption.
Yeah. 100%. Let's just jump right into that then. So the huge announcement was Robinhood says the CEO says crypto will replace traditional finance. calling it inevitable, right? And then he didn't say this just like a tweet. He didn't say this just like anything. He actually went on CNBC and said this, right, during yesterday's with an interview with him. He was talking about Bitcoin, Ethereum. That's actually one of his biggest products. A lot of people don't understand this, but Robinhood makes most of its money off crypto trading because they're able to charge a higher fee than if you would buy a Bitcoin ETF, because they're actually doing the transactions in the back end for you. So just like Coinbase, just like everyone else, it's like 1% or whatever it is. But this is huge for Robinhood, but this is even bigger for crypto because Robinhood is, it's a younger generation's way to get onboarded.
Yeah, just their UI has always been an easy access type situation, and that's why you have the whole Wall Street bets movement through GameStop, and that's why you had all these younger people that were working blue collar jobs, or maybe even regular corporate jobs, but in the lower end of the salary bracket, getting involved directly through Robinhood, right? With the GameStop movement, the GMC or AMC, I should say, AMC movement as well, and so it makes sense that they're an easy onboarding platform for crypto as well, right? But it makes sense that they charge on the crypto side, because I know that on the stock side, their whole thing was doing free trades and stuff. So for them to be able to do that is a way to bring in more revenue, right? But the biggest thing here is them speaking out and making a statement like this is just another, I think, example of a company that thrived in TradFi, making that leap, right? That leap of faith that's basically making a statement saying, hey, look, digital assets and crypto here to stay. In fact, going to be growing a lot. And to make a statement like TradFi is going to be, converted over to the digital asset, it's going to be a merge type of event. That's a big statement there.
Yeah, well, think about it. So when you buy Nvidia through Robinhood, you go through Citadel, you go through all that other middlemen, right? That's why it's free. When you're buying crypto, they're doing the transactions for you, basically, right? They're going in and you're actually buying it from Robinhood itself. There really is no third party, so that's why they're able to charge you a fee on that, and that's why there's no middleman right now, unless they did Coinbase, something like that. But then that kind of goes against how they make money, right? So. But the second part of this is the Spurs, right? So the Spurs will now have Ledger on their jersey, which is a hardware wallet. You can put Bitcoin, Ethereum, stuff in there. It's cold storage. It's offline. That is one of the biggest things to happen in a while, because we haven't seen any crypto companies partner with any NBA teams, nothing like that. Besides Coinbase, of course, who's publicly traded. But this is the first since Crypto.com, and especially in the NBA.
Yeah. I think the last deal that was big in the NBA was Coinbase in 2021 or 2022, but it gave them the rights for the NBA and WNBA in terms of like exclusive, being able to put branding on the courts and stuff like that. And so this is big. You're right, for a company that isn't necessarily known to be as in that same class as like the crypto.coms and Coinbase, right? Like Ledger's big. It's big for cold storage, but I just wouldn't put them in that same category. They are in the bigger companies, but of our space. But this is something I think that's good for them too, right? Because they've had a little bit of like shaky type of PR the past couple of years with a couple hacks that got through. Now a lot of that had to do with user error. I truly believe that, like connecting to the wrong website with your ledger and et cetera, but having those back doors and stuff. But with this, they're going to be featured on in not my favorite team, of course, a rival of my team, but the fact that they're on the jersey, right, is big deal in my opinion, because they're kind of like that next level Web3 company that's starting to engage with more of a mainstream advertising approach.
Yeah, 100%. But this also opens the door for Kraken, OKX, and Binance. Like, who's the next to actually be on some jerseys or even football, football stadiums and stuff like that, right? So, meaning soccer or American football as well. I mean, I think a lot of things happening. Tether just purchased 10% of an Italian football team, soccer team, over there as well. So pretty big, and it's going mainstream. That's really what this is all really about. These two big things are mainstream headlines, so definitely bullish on that stuff. So
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised we see Circle too on some, sponsoring segments on CNBC and stuff like that. We'll probably see more and more of this type of approach.
Yeah, 100%. All right, so let's jump into something here. So, Crypto Jelly NL, this guy, he posted this chart, and he's been pretty big. Colin actually kind of went over it and posted something as well, but he said the bullish megaphone target 180K. So he's saying we have this megaphone and we're about to blast off, right? Why is that important? It's because there's so many charts right now that are signaling pretty much just almost the same number between 150 and 180. So he had 180 there. Colin has a 150 target on this reverse head and shoulders. So we got the megaphone, we got the reverse head and shoulders. But wait, there's more. And then Colin has this bull flag, and then he came out and was basically saying, I think it's this one. Yeah, here it is. So he put this out a few days ago, and we broke through. And he basically said that, where is it? All right, so many damn charts here. Where is it? I don't know, but he's basically said the shaft here needs a basically push up. So basically same thing. So we have this giant here, and then it's usually what happens is it actually is the same thing up here. So he's actually predicting 150 as well there. So a lot of charts basically saying the same thing here.
Like a continued bull flag, basically, right? So it's
well,
like
no, he's saying that this is whatever happens here usually happens here, right? In these flags.
Gotcha. So for this flag to kind of extend up vertically and get to those targets, yeah. I mean, that's how a bull flag plays out, and it looks like it's getting to that. It's a little bit more sideways than typical, but at the end of the day, that's tit for tat. I feel like in terms of what you're looking for, but like there's a lot of reasons why to think that the next leg is going to start here in the next couple weeks. That's what I originally thought too. I'm not gonna lie, my thought process got a bit messed up over the weekend because that was pretty intense what happened, right? But I wasn't completely out of it. I was more like, I don't know if what I originally thought, saying, either that very end of June or the beginning of July is going to be that leg that takes us to 120 to 130. But it looks like we're back on track for that, right? We had a 3-4 day kind of scare, and it looks like we're on our way. The daily chart looks really good. The weekly chart looks like it's picked back up. So when you look at like the different time frames, it does match up with what you're showing here.
Yeah, so this is the flagpole, right? And he usually says normally you just take the pole and then you put it to the breakout. And if that's the case, then we potentially should see, again, 150K from this. So, I mean, so many different charts right now. Megaphone, flag, inverse head and shoulders. There's just so many signs right now that are pointing to between 150 and 180, potentially in the next 30 days.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of these targets are what people have forecasted. You go back to the Bitcoin conference and you have people like Charles Hodgkinson say, 250 by the end of the year, 230, 250 by the end of the year. And other people kind of really in that. And to me, that was, if you went back to a couple of months ago, I felt like the 200 to 300 was a pretty conservative target for the end of this year, like the Q4 or, time frame. So I'm sticking with what I thought. I'll be fair to myself and to the audience. I said from 250 to 350 because I didn't want to be wrong if it did explode. And I said I gave myself that $100,000 buffer there. But I do think it's going to be kind of hard to get to that 550 to 700 by Q4. Again, though,
it's not happening in Q4. It's Q2 thing.
I think there's a couple people. I don't know if it's Bob Lucas or Plan B, but there's a couple people that are calling for 500K by the end of Q4.
No, it's not Plan. It's not Plan B or Bob Lucas. No,
it's I could have sworn someone called for the end of that. But anyways, most of the conservative forecasts are between 200 and 250, and that's where I'm sticking with. That's what I've said for the past year and a half.
Yeah, I mean I think that's fair for this year for sure. I think but I think the real bull run is January, February, and March of next year, and then even a little bit of April as well. I think that's when we're going to see those numbers of 700K. I mean, the time frame is just if you take it and you put it on 2021, man, it's potentially going to be breaking. I mean, probably in the next 6 to 8 months. I think the cycle has been pushed forward a little bit. We do have Yeah, so I think we have to do that. But so this next thing is pretty big. So Binance, basically, the inflows to Binance have dropped to just 5,700 BTC. It's the lowest since last year's bear market. Think about that for a second. What was happening in the bear market, right? The bear market was basically nobody was selling their Bitcoin. Now, I'm not selling for 15K. I'm not doing that, right? And so nobody was selling. So what happened was the Bitcoin's price just went nuts. Same thing's happening here right now, but this is happening at 100K. I mean, we haven't really seen this type of not selling. I mean, there's no one sending their Bitcoin to exchanges right now.
Yeah, I mean, so we're about the same levels of that, like January to well, let's say March, April-ish time frame, right? Bitcoin's the black line, right? And
That's
so
the Bitcoin's price, yeah. And this is
yeah,
the
so
amount of going into exchanges.
yeah, so it didn't really start to pick back up until the beginning of the following year,
Yeah.
right? So you did have a dead period at that low period. So um it whenever you see something that correlates and that matches from a different time frame or a period, you just get like this, oh, this is going to happen. But I
Yeah.
don't necessarily think that Bitcoin's going to go down or sideways for the next 3 months, 4 months. I think because we have some different factors in play here. We have the possibility that the Fed eases up a little bit also with the M2 supply. It could look different in terms of like being low and Bitcoin going up, because you have to remember like that the whole point of that is that like people aren't sending it there to sell, right? And it didn't directly correlate at that very moment for Bitcoin's price to go up, but for us, we're in a better place than we were in January of 2021, 2022 for sure, and especially February, March, April, because that was whenever things started to crash hard, right? So I think that is a little skewed, because I think actually we either go a little bit sideways and go up, because that's what the correlation logically does whenever people don't send to Binance to sell. It's like a supply and demand shock. So
yeah, I mean, people either one, people are just not willing to sell at 100K, which is really, really bullish to me. Right, because everyone's thinking the same thing right now. Everyone's thinking that we're going to go up, and that if everyone's thinking one way, man, it usually, I mean, it could go the opposite, right? But then who's selling? Like, who's selling the Bitcoin at that point? I mean, I don't see it really happening from retail, right? So, but we'll see.
yeah,
Because I think retail is the only ones who actually send. Maybe not. Maybe there's some whales as well there. So, all right, moving along here. Senator Lummis says Treasury has some tools that that it could use to convert current underperforming assets into Bitcoin. So one of the tools that the Fed uses, they go into the market and they buy bonds, right? See, she's basically saying the Fed could use that same money and buy Bitcoin. She's saying it's definitely open. He doesn't need Congress to do that, which is crazy. And she was at this Bitcoin Policy Institute saying this.
yeah. I wonder what assets they would actually convert, right?
Well, no.
Yeah.
So the Treasury, one of the tools they have, they can go into the market and use cash to buy bonds. She's basically saying they can use that same cash to buy Bitcoin.
Yeah, it says convert current underperforming assets. So what's the underperforming assets? Cash?
No, it's well, yeah, 100%.
I mean, it is
that would definitely
underperforming,
be.
but like I feel like when she makes that statement, I'm thinking of like, and she's talking about different precious metals that might not be doing well that they accumulate.
Well, the Treasury doesn't accumulate gold.
Yeah. So like, what
Yeah.
are they accumulating, right? So that's what I'm exactly. So,
Yeah.
like, I'm curious to see what exactly they would convert, right? But that is cool.
Well, they wouldn't
that
convert
have,
anything. They would. She's basically saying here. I listen to it. She goes in. She basically says the one of the tools they have is they go into the market and buy bonds. They can go into, instead of buying these underperforming assets, they can go in and use that same tool to buy Bitcoin.
Gotcha. It's just worded weird there. It's
Yeah.
worded really weird because it says, convert current underperforming assets into Bitcoin. But either way, whatever.
Well, the
I feel like
underperforming assets are the bonds. Like they're underperforming, right?
Yeah,
Because the interest rates are so high.
Gotcha. Is the convert part. But anyways, so they use this as a bullet, right? I guess like in their chamber. So this is really cool if they can use this kind of as a way to be efficient, right? And you can't really complain whenever the committee is being more efficient, right? You have to imagine if someone's really complaining against that or going against it, that they have some other motive behind it.
Yeah, 100%. All right. Next thing here, Jerome Powell says the strong economy allows for a little bit of pause. So Jerome was a little hawkish yesterday in the sense of cutting rates, and then you have JD Vance come out and he says, "I'd love to hear an argument for why Powell cut rates 50 points right before an election, but can't do it now with inflation lower." And then Jerome also said during me, he said rates will continue when the time is right. Banks can engage in crypto, and tariff-driven inflation may pick up from June. So he's basically saying he thinks the tariffs are going to come in June. That's why he's not doing it. But JD Vance is like, this is bullshit. Like, this is just for him not to. I don't know. They think he's trying to sabotage what Trump is doing.
I think he has a little bit more time to probably work with this, and then I think everybody's going to probably think that. Look, June's almost up here. Right. So he's going to get that data in July. I don't think he will have, if it's decent numbers, if it's good numbers, he's not going to be able to, I guess, like, get around that. Right. And if you still have 2 rate cuts, you really got four meetings left. So,
yeah.
I right now people are frustrated. I get it. Like, the market was frustrated first, and then like the politicians are getting frustrated, obviously. And now it's I think it's going to be coming soon. Soon is the rate cuts will come soon, especially if we get good numbers in July. And I actually think we're going to get, if they're worse, they're not going to be worse by much. I think it might be like pretty minimal, but we'll see. We're going to definitely see if there's a big negative impact from tariffs. It should be in July, the numbers we get in July.
Yeah, I mean, let's jump over to Poly Market, right? Because this is the one that's really telling. So this is July right here. They're projecting an 81% chance of no change, 18% chance of a 25 BPS, right? 2% here and 1% on an increase, which is crazy to me. But then if you go up here and you go to September, which is, so this is the 3 meetings we have: July 30th, September 17th, and October 29th. They're the 3 ones, and there's another one in December. So let's go to the September one. It's a lot. It looks a lot better. 25% decrease. So 55% is leaning towards that. So they're saying July there's going to be no cut, but September we're finally going to get that cut, and then potentially October as well. October
is that the last meeting
as well. So we have one more in December.
Okay. Yeah. So September, skip October maybe, and then the last one to finish the year off. Yeah. And if we wait till September, which probably is going to be the case, the pent up demand could actually kind of create this like really big jolt up, because everybody's been waiting for this for so long, right?
Yeah.
But we'll see how that plays out. September is when fall starts, football season starts. I feel like people really kind of start to gear up to spend money, and the mood changes kind of, right? So it's a good timing to get that first cut. But people in the market and that's cover it every day. Obviously, we'd like it sooner than later.
Yeah, 100%. I really hope they change it. I mean, there's plenty of time here, right? We have over 35 days until this meeting here, and if we can kind of get some data change to where we can kind of get this at least 50-50. Jerome, I can't see Jerome doing it if Poly Market is not 50-50. So
we've seen some big changes from Poly Market in a short period of time due to some sort of sentiment. It doesn't happen that often, but when it happens, it's pretty drastic, because and typically it'll be like a month out that we see it's high. So we're kind of in this middle ground right now, because we're about to finish June. So and when is that exact date for that meeting in July? Do you know if it's like towards the end? 30th. Okay, 30th. Basically, so we are a month out. Okay, a little bit more
35
than a month
days.
Out. Yeah. So enough time for something drastic to change. So we'll see.
Yeah, 100%. And then we'll see what happens for the rest of the year. But Morgan Stanley expects the Fed to deliver 7 rate cuts in 2026, starting in March, bringing the terminal rate down to 2.5. So 7 rate cuts they're expecting for next year. That could be something that really sparks a crypto
that falls in line with your 2026 year, right? And I forgot who said it that kind of aligned with what you were thinking about the bull year kind of being pushed back some, but it makes sense. I mean, if we get 7 rate cuts in 2026, that would be crazy year, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, it was Raul Paul basically said that. He said that, you know, he thinks the bull run got pushed back. He said basically he feels like this year is feeling like 2020 and next year will feel like 2021. And if, you know, let's just say we're sitting in January, right? And you know, we haven't really cut rates. Maybe we cut them once in that September or whatever. Potentially markets are forward looking. The markets are they're gonna jack up in January because they're expecting so much liquidity coming into the markets.
Yeah, I mean, 2026 could be the year that we all worked so hard for and was extremely patient for, right? It'd be good. It'd be good to finish the year strong this year, and then kind of like maybe a little pause in January, and then kick things off for 2026.
Yeah, for sure. All right. The SEC Crypto Task Force met with New York Stock Exchange to discuss crypto regulation approaches. So this is the SEC Crypto Task Force meeting with the New York Stock Exchange, right? The agenda included tokenized equities trading, generic listing standards for spot crypto ETPs, and promoting level playing field among market participants. So the SEC Crypto Task Force and New York Stock Exchange kind of tells me, can the New York Stock Exchange potentially add crypto and not just ETFs?
Ooh, yeah. I mean, this is where I think we got to really pay close attention and learn what they're going to be doing here, right? We know that Base has a big, strong initiative in terms of bringing, you know, TradFi assets onto the Base chain. That has to go through probably SEC crypto task force as well. What does that look like with the New York Stock Exchange? There has to be a lot of like alignment, right? Because what does that mean to have like an actual digital stock on Base comparative to someone trading that same stock? What does it mean for the supply? What does it mean for the demand? You know what I mean? Like they have to get all this balance together. So this is a good, you know, for the people that are like, oh, you know, you guys are celebrating that TradFi or coming into our space. You have to remember, if something is popular and it grows in size, you can never contain it to just your little corner, because people want to be a part of it, right? And this is just that next step here. But in my opinion, people that are native to our space, the Web3 space, pay close attention to this, because I think there's going to be big opportunities here. Big opportunities, whether it's in a more native Web3 platform protocol, or it comes from the TradFi side, because eventually, like the CEO from Robinhood said, the merge is happening, you know, and you got to pay attention.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, is like the NYSE doesn't want to get left behind. We do know that BlackRock is building a digital version of them in Texas, and they don't want to get left behind. So you're probably going to see down the line a partnership with New York Stock Exchange and a chain. And what that's going to do is that's going to drive that chain, whatever it is. Rumor has it that they're actually building on Polkadot. I don't know how true that is, but that's what I've been hearing is Gavin Wood has been meeting with the people from the New York Stock Exchange. So I don't know if they're going to build like an Ethereum, like their own chain, you know, because you can build an Ethereum based chain on Polkadot now, and I don't know, but we'll see. We'll see if they go
and maybe Ondo in the Texas one, right? Because we know BlackRock has their kind of fingerprints on Ondo. So
yeah, we'll see. Circle this morning has been at $250 million USD on Solana. People are gearing up, man. It really feels like that right now. I know you got Bitcoin dipping a little bit, 107, 123 right now, but it feels like, dude, something is about to happen in a lot of different places and not just Bitcoin.
Yeah. I just I don't know. You know, do you think like this degen type of culture is just gonna be amplified by like 1,000 once like it really does kick off, or do you think it becomes more of a, you know, change of culture slowly into this next kind of boom? Let's say we have a boom in 2026, but like a lot of these TradFi environments are here now and stuff. How do you view it?
Well, with Circle, with this 250 million with Circle right now, right? This tells me this is big money. This isn't retail coming in to buy meme coins, right? This is big money getting into DeFi, right? Whether
On
that's
Solana.
just on Solana, right? So I mean, in general, really, but this for this instance, this is Solana, and this is 250 million. I mean, it's like every week Circle has printed 250 million, but for who? Right? For who?
Yeah.
Who is getting this? Because it's, you know, Circle just doesn't do it, you know, with their own money. You have to go to Circle and say, hey, I want to do 250 million. They're going to charge you, let's just say 100K to do that. You send them the cash, they give you the coin, boom, boom, right? But what do you do with that coin once it's there? A lot of them are probably just adding yield, right? You're probably buying like Solana, maybe Solana or maybe something else, and putting it together, right? So I don't know. This is being massive, and I do think that it hasn't started yet. I feel like there's a lot of money sitting in USDC, and they're kind of seeing the DXY just keep dropping, and potentially that money is going to go into crypto, whether it's, you know, wrapped Bitcoin. Who knows, right? You can buy it on Solana.
Yeah, but they've been consistent with this in terms of printing on Solana specifically recently, right? I really hope it is for this, like maybe ICM meta, that like they're really trying to make like a strong movement or something that's more serious. Like I love memes. I love the meme culture whenever it's done right. Like dog community, love it. Don't love it whenever it's pump fun. That's a coin popping off like every 2 minutes, right? And goes to 5 million and then dumps to zero. I hate that. But look, smart people, obviously 250 million, that's a lot, right? So there's definitely some smart people that are moving stable over there. So I expect probably something with more substance that's going to come out of Solana this next year.
Yeah, and I 100% agree. And I do think that potentially, you know, just stable coins alone, I mean, that's TVL. That's potentially headed for, I mean, we could see billions of dollars enter Solana's TVL. And actually, I mean, could they push Solana above Ethereum? Could Solana be the new DeFi chain, right? And in that sense, because, you know, these guys, they want to earn yield on their tokens here, and you know, finding a nice safe place to put this $250 million, I don't think that's easy on Solana. So
True.
We'll find out what they end up doing.
True, and you're right. Like in terms of the Ethereum, you know, staking environment that's been really established, and there's a lot of institutions there already, and not so much on the Solana side, but that's just maybe this is a part of that build out.
Yeah, 100%. All right, let's jump into something Bitcoin native. So Flashnet. Breaking: Flashnet to launch first fully regulated Bitcoin stablecoin, a BSDB. So they posted this yesterday. This is Flashnet. They're apparently like they're doing something where you send your USDC, and then you get a Bitcoin version of that called USDB, and then it'll be natively on Bitcoin. What do you think about this, man? Do you think of Bitcoin? Did they announce what standard they're going to be using for this? Do you know?
So Spark, it's a part of the Spark ecosystem. So this is the thing about Spark is there's a lot of mystery behind it. We've seen Magic Eden talk about, you know, they're going to be utilizing the Spark ecosystem and standard to do a lot of Bitcoin stuff, right? So it's coming to Bitcoin, coming to Magic Eden on Bitcoin. To me, this is pretty big because, you know, they have like one of the biggest platforms, marketplaces for Bitcoin, if not the biggest in terms of everything. They have the biggest, right? Art and fungibles. Now you can swap, you know, your potentially your runes into this USDB, and you know, I know you can do that with Starknet, but I feel like this is going to be like, no matter how much you try to do, obviously there's going to be some limit, but it's going to be really I don't know, liquid in my opinion, because they wouldn't add it to Magic Eden if it wasn't. We're going to see what this does, though. And I'm interested to learn more about the Spark ecosystem. But again, there's been a lot of promise in the Bitcoin ecosystem with, you know, not so much maybe like follow through, right? But we'll see if this is following through. By the way, you might want to minimize that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. All right. So, but I guess my question for you is, are we going to start seeing liquidity pools on Magic Eden? You know, so is this what they're waiting for Slingshot, right? You know, potentially having liquidity pools with backed USDB.
Possibly. That's where I want to learn more about like Spark and like the mechanics behind it, right?
Yeah.
I feel like there's not enough information about Spark, and there's not enough hype from kind of the active crypto Twitter communities about Spark yet. But it could be one of their, like, you know, secret weapons, right, that they release, because they know there's multiple different entities that are rushing to build for Bitcoin, especially with a stable environment, stuff like that.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I don't know. That'd be really cool to see liquidity pools if they start adding liquidity pools.
I mean, even if they're a
custodian.
little centralized or whatever, I think people will still utilize them because it's Magic Eden. Like I said
Yeah.
before, like there's only a couple brands that could get away with that to start off with. Magic Eden's one of them because people trust them in terms of like, being one of the biggest players in the space. Obviously having really good revenue on a monthly, yearly basis, right?
Yeah.
So I would say go for it, man. Make the experience as best as you can for runes traders and people you're trying to onboard.
Yeah, 100% agree. This is interesting. So 11.1 billion in shorts could be wiped out if Bitcoin jumps 10%, just 10%, right? So if you're market makers, right, we know that they've been headhunting a lot of these liquidations, right? They've been pushing these liquidations to happening, in my opinion. As soon as Bitcoin goes up, they're like, nope, bring it back down. Let's destroy the longs. But what about the shorts? Is it time for the exchanges to come in and start wiping out some of these shorts, meaning Capo and James Wynn?
Well, I mean, it happened, right? Like
Yeah.
on Monday, Tuesday. I mean, imagine like how all the people that were bullish and in long positions over the weekend felt.
Yeah.
And then how all the people that were in short positions over the beginning of the week felt. I mean, it's like both sides got gut punched. And, you see the market makers, Wintermute is like the prime suspect for this cycle in terms of market makers really wrecking everybody. But like they see the headline on Saturday, oh, this is perfect. Let's liquidate as many longs as possible. Then on Monday, Trump comes out with the peace. Let's have peace. Mission accomplished. Oh, this is perfect to reverse it. Right. So it's just, man, I'm telling you, it's really tough if you are in leverage trading. Right. It's almost kind of like, and they don't want people to stop doing leverage because they make a lot of money, but it's healthy for the space from a mental health perspective, probably just stay in spot, man, for the rest of the cycle.
Yeah.
I mean,
no,
or low responsible leverage, of course. But.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it comes down to this guy, right? This guy, James Wynn. He says, me and Capo, obviously two of the richest and most profitable traders in the industry. I don't know if this guy is even that profitable at trading, right? Maybe it's just buying Pepe and holding, but he said 99% of my timeline is bullish from, a few hours out of green candles. I think you're all stupid. And he actually posted something, I guess it's Capo's Telegram, right? Just increased my short position here. What do you think, man? Do you think that we could potentially short squeeze these guys? 40x leverage is pretty easy to short squeeze, in my opinion.
Seems to, be as of late. So James Wynn obviously had a pretty good run up from, I think it was like that 80,000 mark in early April to Bitcoin getting to like 111. But then like he just wouldn't give up on the long side. And then finally when he switched, like he thought he won, but he lost. It's kind of like as of late, probably do opposite, right? Is kind of the thing. And I'm in that boat, same boat as our guest that was on 2 weeks ago during the Artura segment. Ace said, the PSYOP, there's something going on with James Wynn and Hyperliquid or some sort of agreement. We'll never know. He's not going to open up and show us, right? Hyperliquid is definitely not going to come out and be like, oh, he's like, we're paying him. So it's just more about speculation. But it just seems like this guy came, kind of blew up, and now he's just like still wanting to influence the space on where he thinks the Bitcoin price is going to go.
Yeah, 100%. And he says, spot is for pussies. This guy, he definitely seems to be working for Hyperliquid. I'm just going to say, but I would love to see 11.1 billion in shorts be liquidated. I mean, all we got to do is push up to like 112, and that could send a huge short squeeze potentially to 117 or 118. So.
Yeah. I mean, he says that spot is for what do you say for wimps for wimps, for a better word, but also losing $90 million is for dummies, right? And that's what he did. So
yeah, 100%. Well, he did. It's funny that he was considered the insider. Remember, like, because he was getting lucky. He would go long right before Trump was coming
Oh
out with
yeah,
something,
that
and
was
then he was
him, right?
yeah, it was him. Yeah, and then it was like every time, but he would just do it so often that it was like, okay, he got lucky here. That's how he got up there. But then he ended up losing that all of that, right? Because he took no profit. So
But then that now you look back at it, it's like it just seems like it was a script that was written out. Like this
I
mysterious
mean,
man was winning. This mysterious, oh, this is now James Wynn, and he's still winning a little bit. Now he's losing. It just seemed like it was a script that was written out.
100%. And then he did the media tour. He went on Crypto Banter and so many other places. But let's jump into the crypto fear and greed here. So last week we were at a 48. Yesterday we were at 47. My hint for you is we are pretty much where we were last week.
58.
48. So
Oh, sorry, 48. 48.
no,
All right,
yeah,
well,
well,
I'll say 48. 48.
yeah. So we're at 48. So last
Oh,
week we we're at 48. Yesterday at 48. Continue at a 48. So pretty sideways here in neutral, just kind of hanging out. But yeah.
yeah, 48. It feels so today. I feel like we're probably should be a little bit higher than 48, just because of that bounce back. But
Yeah.
we'll see how we finish the week. The daily chart. I'll get into that a little bit today because I mean I don't typically show that because I have so many time frames, but I'm going to show it today because it looks like it is in a good spot. So we'll see.
Yeah, man. All right. Let's dig into the Bitcoin price action brought to you guys by Artura.finance. Artura, they're building on Bitcoin L2. They're building a leverage trading platform so James Wynn can get liquidated there as well. But they're building on Botonics. Botonics is the spider chain. They are going live, it seems like, very soon here. And they are pushing Artura as one of the bigger platforms building there, which basically means that when you're using Artura, you potentially not only earn ARA token, but you're potentially getting incentivized by Botonics. We have some ideas of what that could possibly be, but I'm not 100% sure. So really looking forward to that. But not only are they building on Botonics, they're also building on Hemi. Hemi is backed by Binance. Hemi is they're already live. But Artura is going to go live on them very soon, probably after Botonics. But you will also be able to earn the Hemi token there on top of the ARA token when you're using that. So low leverage, small money can get you the biggest airdrop, in my opinion. Just make a lot of trades there, and air farm, definitely air farm. But that check everything out at Artura.finance.
Yep. Kind of similar to what that kid did with I think it was Radium or one of those dexes over there. He did $1 every day forever. And Jupiter. Yeah, and he ended up getting a $1 million airdrop. So kudos to that kid, smart kid. All right, guys, we're gonna before we get into Bitcoin price action, help us out here on the YouTube side. Smash that like, subscribe to the channel, and also turn your notifications on so you know when we go live. On the X side, let's share the space, guys. Let's share it, like it, do all that good stuff, and same thing on the abstract side, if you guys wouldn't mind. Appreciate you guys are so awesome. Let's jump into some Bitcoin price action here, starting with the hour chart here. As always, it looks like we are kind of retracing a little bit here on the hour chart. You can see we have rode this uptrend all the way up to that 108, almost 300, right? And right now we are kind of reversing that trend a bit here, but that's okay. I mean, like, you have to remember how far we've come since that really hard dump on Saturday, right? The bands look like they were tightening up, so I guess this was that volatile move up here. It did kind of open up, but then we'll see how far this comes down here. You can see on the MACD, we tried to go into some buy pressure. It didn't last very long. We'll see even if we go back into sell pressure here. We were in sell pressure for quite a bit. If you go back from Tuesday at 3 a.m., the sell pressure lasted up until really this green candle here at 6 a.m. this morning. So even if we go into sell pressure, I would say just watch the first couple candles, right? Because it could be kind of just really short-lived. Because that's typically what happens if you have a long period of pressure one way or the other, and then a short period right after that. So we'll see how long the sell pressure lasts if it actually builds out a red candle here. This definitely looks like it wants to go a little bit further down, but let's take a look here at the VRVP and see what kind of support and resistance we have here. So this is a forecast for the next 4 to 8 hours on the hour chart, and we're going to pull data back to 8 p.m. Central. last night. The price level that we're at right now, we're at 106,999, which is right at 107. You can see right here the resistance is a bit stronger, a decent amount stronger here, and then right above that, it's more balanced, but it's still heavier on the resistance side. And then we got a lot of support here at the 107,200 range. So if we could get back up there, we could kind of hang out back up here for a bit and maybe, get some big buy bids, push us up continually. But if we don't make it back there, it looks like, this area that we're at right here looks like definitely the resistance is going to, outweigh us a good amount. So, and then there's no support right underneath that until we get to 106,800, which it's balanced out there, but definitely support starts back here. So look, guys, I wouldn't be freaking out too much, and I'll show you why here on these higher time frames. I would say, expect a little bit of back and forth here. We've driven the price all the way back up to 108,300. Definitely didn't expect that by Wednesday after the weekend, and even after a couple bullish days, Monday and Tuesday, I didn't expect us to hit that 108,300 yet. So to me, I feel like we're in a good spot today. Yes, we might range back to like the low 106 area today because we did rise all the way up there, right? And you can see these leading indicators aren't showing a ton of strength right now, but again, it is kind of that pendulum swinging back and forth. But let's see here on the 4-hour chart what kind of confirmation we get here, if we get any. So the 4-hour chart does look like it's starting to exhaust a bit here on the MACD. This looks really good, obviously, but this is what we've experienced, right, the past couple days. So not too shocked there. The stochastics, we've been up here for a minute, probably going to see, a bounce back down. So yeah, it makes sense for us to probably go back to that 106 again. Yesterday I was a bit wrong, so don't take anything I'm saying as gospel. I'm wrong a lot, guys. Here I'm just using the indicators to try to see possibly where we're headed for Bitcoin today. As you guys know, Bitcoin's been extremely volatile. It's been headline driven, and so that could change basically based off of any headlines that come in. But from what the indicators are showing, probably want to see those, maybe even the high 105 to low 106 levels for the next 4 to 8 hours. We'll see. And if that plays out, as long as we kind of hang around that and show a little bit of strength still, I think the 4-hour chart won't get too wrecked, and we could possibly head into the weekend okay. So let's see what's going on with the daily chart here. So the daily is something that I've been really spotting or looking at here really a lot. You can see, looked like we were going to come out of the sell pressure before, and that's kind of whenever we went back into it, right, over the weekend, and it just looked really bad. And the weekend was around this area, right? So we didn't really get too much of a bounce up. Yeah, we were hanging around like that 105, 107, 108, and kind of back and forth. And then we started to see that 104, 103, and then we had the weekend and we really started to sell down, right? But now we're coming out of that. We're coming out of that sell pressure, and hopefully we can actually get a decent sized green candle. So that's why I feel like the setup here on the daily looks pretty good. As long as we don't dump too hard today, if we do dump, I think we'll be okay, and we can kind of set ourselves up to actually start to form a green daily candle, and that could lead into some consecutive daily green candles, right? That's what we want, and then that's what I think is going to push us towards reaching, even if we reach a new all-time high that's not super impressive. Let's say we get to 113, we hover around 110 to 113, because I do think it's going to take some time to get to the 120, 130. We still have July ahead of us, so we could see an all-time high before this month ends. We got about 5 days left, but I don't think it's going to be like something crazy. I'll be maybe 113 ranging back to 109. Then we get into July and start to see some of those crazier numbers. We'll see. I could be completely wrong. I'm just going off of what I think in terms of the time we have left with the M2 global supply as well. Let's take a look here at the weekly chart. The weekly chart definitely looks better than it was. We did rebound here a bit from almost completely coming out of the sell pressure. We're back in the buy pressure, but it is still kind of exhausted looking. So I think we do need to end this week decent, right? Let's end it in a green candle, maybe like at that 108, 110, around that level on a Sunday, late Sunday afternoon or evening. That would be a great end to this weekly candle here for Bitcoin. So I don't want to speak too much on this because I talk about this a lot pretty much every day. I think that we're going to have to show strength for the rest of this week to kind of, have this continuation here. But we'll see. So Bitcoin's looking still okay here on the weekly. Let's take a look at the others. Others, very similar situation. We're not still in the buy pressure area for the MACD, but we have this green candle for this week, right? Because the bounce back of Bitcoin. So we're just kind of waiting on what Bitcoin wants to do. For the people that don't know, the others chart is everything besides Bitcoin and the top 10 cryptocurrency market caps. So it's going to be a delayed reaction to what Bitcoin's doing right now. Obviously, Ethereum's still doing that as well. Actually, Ethereum's kind of even, dumping a little bit harder when Bitcoin pulls back. So this will probably reflect that as well. So that's what I'm seeing for weekly as well. The crypto bubbles was really good yesterday. Today, the alt market doesn't look that great. Seeing pretty much 85%, red, but not too bad. We're seeing very small amounts of double digits, if at all, really. I don't even see any in terms of the pullbacks. You're seeing virtuals as like one of the closest to get to that 10 mark, but you're seeing virtuals that pulling back 9.5%, Tau 6.9% pullback, Maker DAO 5.7%. You got Sonic pulling back 7.1%, Cardano pulling back 2.3% for the day. What else do we have here? Some of the memes. Dog with hat pulling back 5.7%. Trump pulling back 2.3%. SPX pulling back 4.1%. I heard something about Murad selling OTC for his SPX. I don't know how much truth is there, but seems like he's offloading some of this right now. I just saw on crypto Twitter, but don't take that as gospel. Look that up yourself. What else is here that's notable? Bonk down 1.8%. Let's take a look at some of the 100 through 200 ranked tokens here. Let's go back to the utility stuff here. Hex is down 8%. PulseX down 6.8%. You're seeing Move down 9.8%. Or up, sorry, 9.8%. What else we have? Eigenlayer down 3.2%. Pith down 2.8%. Dog is up 4.7%. So Dog is looking strong. I think people are still kind of riding on that high of the Friday event of, I think most of us think there's an 80% chance of it getting listed on Kraken, maybe higher.
99 at this point, right?
Yeah. I mean, they pretty much, without putting it out there, they're putting it out there, right?
They did a video of Leonidas yesterday.
That was wild, by the way. To see him on there, yeah. Core up 4.4%, Cato up 3%, and then Starknet down 2.9%. But yeah, that's going to be the Bitcoin price action along with the alt market for you guys.
It does feel like they are selling into Bitcoin right now, because this morning you had Bitcoin green, and my entire timeline was turning red, especially after that dip Bitcoin had from 108 to 1075. It kind of really pushed down. But so I was watching your the price action, obviously, and then so this is kind of what I see a lot of the bigger traders posting right now, right? It's just kind of this chart here, and something like this is kind of what I'm seeing now. But as long as we stay above this 1064, I think we can continue something like this. But they're basically saying that we could potentially do something like this and just kind of ride this up, potentially up to there, up to 112 that way, and that'll kind of lead us right into about the 30th or even the 1st of July, potentially at 1012, and then pushing July upward the entire month. What do you think about that?
Yeah, the reason why I can agree with something like this is because I feel pretty bullish on the daily chart, right? I feel like the indicators are showing that we could enter some consecutive green daily candles that could be decently strong. We haven't seen that in a while. We haven't seen that since wait, no, hold on, where are we? Sorry. We haven't seen strong green candles really since May 22nd on the daily chart.
Yeah.
So and that didn't last long. There was a group of 3 green candles, daily candles. The third one and the first one were not very strong. The middle one was pretty strong, and then in between and then we had a lot of bad red, and then 2 tiny little blips of green, and then a lot of bad red. So for me, we haven't had like the consistent, like strong green daily candles yet since May 22nd. And that wasn't even really that consistent. So if you want to go back to really consistent, was May 9th. Starting in May 8th, 9th, and 10th. Those were the 3 strongest candles that we've had consecutively, and we just haven't had them in for so long. So I feel like we're due for something like that, and I think it's going to be coming sooner than later.
Yeah, 100%. And another chart I see a lot is kind of like this one, where they're saying like Bitcoin needs to potentially come down to about here, 91, before we take another leg up. But I don't know about that either. But that's just 2 things I keep seeing. Potentially Bitcoin breaking up here and just going straight up, and then maybe touching this line eventually down the line here. But this line goes all the way back here to about September 2024. So I hope we don't see that. I really hope we don't see something on the lines of maybe coming back down here and then the push up first. But I mean, we'll see. We will see.
Yeah.
All right. Let's jump into the roll call here. Change the banners. All right. So first is first on the show, and we like to just call out the first comment and actually put it on a spreadsheet. So if you have been watching and keeping up, we do have a 3-man battle, it seems like, between Webdro, Danny Boy, and Lackey Lukey. And today, my man Webdro came in strong, his 26th win of the year. He had that first comment today. Lackey Lukey has 29. He has 26. He has officially tied Danny with 26. Danny hasn't won since June 16th here. It's been Lackey Lukey and Webdro back to back here. And we'll see if Webdro continues, because it's 2 Lackey Lukey, 2 Webdro, 2 Lackey Lukey, and potentially, if Webdro wins again, 2 Webdro. So we will see. But plenty of time for anyone. We still have 150 days left in the year, probably about 100 shows left in the year. So there's plenty of time here. And for even somebody who hasn't even won yet, right? Potentially win this whole thing. We're giving away a Bitcoin frog on December 31st, right after the show. So that frog is already bought, and it is ready for one of these guys. And it looks like one of these guys are going to win. So shout out to you guys. But let's jump in the roll call here. We have Webdro again. And then we have, he says, cowboy hat, smiley face. He said, Bitcoin price action looking bullish. Yes, sir. Danny Boy came in. Danny Boy wasn't far behind him. He said, word. Tim Baker said, can I borrow you guys' bot? So Tim Baker thinks that Webdro's a bot there. So shout out to Tim Baker, AOD Art himself. Webdro says 0.004 for dog, potentially. Hydro Sapien says the on-chain revolution is king. Yes, sir. Thank you so much, Hydro. Man, you've been just one of the biggest commenters, man. Really appreciate you, my friend. He said, don't fade the dog of Bitcoin. Do not do it. Rare Sats Dom says on-chain revolution. Thank you so much for being here, sir. One Plush at says, I went all in. Haven't stopped crying since. Yeah, there's a lot of people. It depends when you went all in, right? So Webdro says, can't wait to break this price range. Yes, breaking this price range will be absolutely awesome. Webdro with a rocket ship. Malam Yuri is here. First time Bitcoin is pumping while our portfolio shrinks. Almost as Bitcoin is penetrating some heavy manipulation. Yeah, so Bitcoin is going up while everything else is going down. Bitcoin dominance is still super, super strong. Bitcoin is running. Bitcoin is truth is here. Abstract. He said abstract is the biggest opportunity in crypto. I mean, that airdrop could be one of the bigger ones. Yes, for sure. K99 is here. Spindrift is here. Vader Time is here. Chips and Dip is here. Rick G says GM fam, long live OnChain Revolution. Thank you so much, Rick G. Absolutely awesome. Stan says, by any chance, does the channel know what bridge Botonics and Monad are using for their EVM tech? Thanks. So Botonics is not live yet, and I don't know what Monad is using. Just all you gotta do is you could just check over on Botonics and probably see.
Yeah, we'll get that information, as soon as the right before mainnet goes live, I'm sure. So we'll make sure you're following them first and get those updates there. But keep watching the show, because we're going to be doing tutorials and all types of stuff with that.
Yeah, 100%. Especially for Artura, teaching us how to get on there. No is here. Says let's effing go. Chief Axel is here. Hillbilly Sophistication is here. Says GM. He's out in the PA. Wow, shout out to you, my friend. He's myself says my prediction for years has been that Bitcoin will top at 120 to 140 this cycle. But now I'm thinking it might go higher. I mean, Bitcoin's at 107,000 and we're technically still at 4% interest rates, right? So I don't know. I think 120 to 140 is very, very conservative on that sense. So Cash Cats is here. Shout out to Cash Cats with the coffee and the donuts and the dog. Go to the moon. Shout out to you, my friend. Stan is here. He says, are Merlin and Arturo Babylon competitors? Thanks. Is Babylon a Bitcoin L2?
No, well, they do have their own chain, but okay, so I get the only sense to where that Merlin would be a competitor with Babylon is now that they're offering this proof of stake Bitcoin staking, but it's a different environment, and I would even say almost a little bit of a different crowd. Maybe there's some crossover because the way that Merlin's doing it is obviously the wrapped version of Bitcoin, and Babylon's doing all their staking on L1, but then kind of reassigning like also like a restaking whole restaking like system and teams with that, right? So I wouldn't say they're much of competitors, honestly. And when Babylon has their chain live, who knows when that's going to be? And I don't even know what product types they're going to offer there. They're just not. They're known for being like this, layer one staking mechanism that a bunch of whales participated in, or entities that were other layer twos and kind of did this restaking product, right? But an Arturo, I think, are you talking about Artura, or is there another?
Years.
Okay, yeah, they're definitely not. They're not a competitor to them, as Artura is a separate dApp that's going to be on Botonics, and Merlin is its own Bitcoin layer two. So
yeah. So 100%. So Artura obviously is just a dApp that's going to be on Botonics. I guess you could say Merlin and Babylon are competitors if Babylon's going because I think Babylon's done with the Bitcoin layer one staking, because how they were giving people the APY was giving them the baby token. And I think that is kind of over at this point. I can't see them continuously, because there's no reason. I mean, when Babylon has you lock up on Bitcoin layer one, they're not earning anything, right? They might earn a little bit of a fee, kind of like what Fluid is doing, but I'm not sure. So I don't really know if Babylon's going to let people continuously do it on L1. They might do something like Merlin is doing it now, which taking that Bitcoin and using Core or other places to earn yield. But yeah, I think Babylon could be a Merlin competitor, but I think Merlin kind of wins that race because Merlin was first. So we'll see. Babylon just got big because they're layer one staking, but that's not good. I don't think they're going to be able to continue that for sure. Myself says lots of people think we cut in July. I mean, I'm getting the sense of that as well. I'm seeing more and more people come out and say that. I mean, 2 of 7 in the past week of the people who actually vote have came and said they want to cut. So we will see. And then you got the president and vice president. I mean, I think Trump called him dumb again today. So I don't know what that is. So Stan says Monad or Sonic. Thanks. I've always been a Sonic guy. I've played on Phantom for a long time. I don't even know what Monad is.
Yeah, I gotta look into that. Must have something to do with the Bitcoin ecosystem.
Yeah. Stan says, when degens park their Lambos at Waffle House, people will ask how and where, and then Solana DeFi will, in my opinion,
Moon
ICP. Okay, well, Moon. Okay. In my opinion, ICP will rescue Sol from isolation through their chain key Sol. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot packed in there, but so Lambos at Waffle House, definitely probably a sell moment, right? If you go to your local Waffle House and you see a Lambo with
like logos
that says Sol, with a Solana logo on the side, maybe it's time to sell, right? I mean, that's
well, I mean, I think he has a little bit of a point with the ICP chain key Sol, but not necessarily rescue Solana. I don't think Solana will need rescuing necessarily, but I think actually ICP, if they continue this, because like Bob Bodily is going to integrate this chain key Sol into Odin.fund to onboard these degenerates from the Solana ecosystem to see if that works. I really think Dominic and the founding teams of ICP really need to thank like Bob Bodily and was it Definity
Yeah.
The one that works in the Bitcoin ecosystem a lot. Those guys are
Yeah.
really cool, by the way. They've reached out
Yeah.
to us several times. Because they have made ICP relevant again. And this is probably what needed to happen a long time ago, but maybe the right teams, the right people weren't there yet, or just maybe innovation hadn't gotten to that point yet. But I'm actually getting a bit bullish on ICP's tech stack because people are utilizing it more and more to be able to scale stuff like Bitcoin and stuff like that. But we'll I don't know how much it's going to affect the price of ICP. I know there's some weird stuff happening with the tokenomics. When I say weird, I'm not educated enough to speak on it. So I just, the price, people have been waiting for a number to go up for a long time is what I'll say.
100% there. I think Solana and ICP are like, perfect for each other. You can bring the degens to ICP and an ICP's tech to Solana. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. Choda says, hit likes and share the stream. Support the channel. Thank you, Choda. Appreciate you, my friend. Myself says, Stan, dog. Stan says, myself, dog. And myself says, most people lose money when leverage trading. Leverage exchanges are aware of this, which is why they aggressively promote their products and pay influencers so well to prey on the uneducated. And this could be, James Wynn, right? He could just be paid by Hyperliquid to push people in the direction Hyperliquid wants them to go to.
Yeah, but I feel like that would be kind of shady because it's not like out in the open, right? But most people are assuming some sort of relationship there. But yeah, you're right. I mean, look, leverage trading, in my opinion, is very. It's a way to kind of wreck retail. I mean, and it's not necessarily. Well, it is the intention of the exchanges and the platforms, but not necessarily all of them, right? Like, yes, there's a business model there, but there's also different things you can do. You can add to Hyperliquid's vaults. You don't have to participate in the trading side of it, so you can earn passively that way. If you're a holder of Hyperliquid's token, you're probably happy for a lot of it if you were either airdrop recipient or you got in right when the airdrop happened. You purchased even with your own side, you had a pretty good gain from that moment, and it's shown a lot of stability. So there's some things that Hyperliquid and some of these exchanges and platforms bring from a positive side of things. But you're right. I mean, I think it's more about education, and the space needs to be a lot more educated in how people can just get wrecked leverage trading if they're not responsible with it.
Yeah, 100% agree. Matt says, smash that like. Shout out to Matt's, man, every single day, Brand. Kenta says, what's up, Bells gang? Yeah, I gotta start looking at Bells again. It's getting really cheap. I think it's down to like 15 to 18 cents again. Cash Cats is here with some fire. Kenta says, do you think LTC or Doge ETF will guarantee a Bells run? Proof of work will have a point in this cycle. Yes. So I think you're going to see proof of work coins, meaning Litecoin, meaning Doge, meaning Bells, and a lot of other ones potentially as well. I mean, there's
Caspa.
Caspa, exactly. Really kind of push up. I do think there's going to be a point in a cycle where a lot of money are going into these. So normally in a bull run, you see money kind of moving from category to category, and proof of work could be one of those categories that kind of push up, especially towards the end of the cycle.
Yeah. I mean, and I do hope that the innovation continues for these proof of work UTXO chains, because I mean, if we're being honest, there's a different level of like sexiness whenever like you have like a tech stack like EVM, SVM, and the quickness and all that stuff, right? But I think it will come as more resources pour into the UTXO side.
Yeah, 100%. Kenta says, Stan, I also believe ICP is the best tech. I mean, I think we all agree their tech is amazing. Kenta says, I think chain key makes it better L2 than Stacks. Yeah, I do too. I think ICP would be a better L2 than Stack. I mean, nothing on Stacks. I just don't believe in it at this point. But that is your roll call for you guys today. I appreciate every single one of you guys, man.
Yes, sir.
All right. You want to play a little bit of a game?
Let's do it. I love games.
Let's bring some fun into here. All right, so I'm gonna go through this, and you just tell me if you've done it or not, and then I'll say if I've ever done it. Have you ever gotten 100x?
Have I ever gotten 100x?
Have you ever had 100x?
God, yeah.
I think we have.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Like, I mean, like, there's a couple BRC20s.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, honk, sats.
Honk. Yeah. Was that?
That's close. Probably more
Okay.
of it. No, that was a little bit safer. I think it was a little bit safer because it got in a little bit later. But yeah, yes,
All right. So losing everything
yes.
and making it all back. All right. All right. Have you ever gotten rugged?
Yes,
Realizing your exit liquidity.
yes,
Yes. Sending to the wrong address.
yes,
Yes. Falling in love with a JPEG.
yes.
Buying a rare NFT, but then you realize you should have just went the floor.
Yes.
Revenge trading.
I don't want to talk about that one. That one makes me mad.
All right,
Yes.
winning your revenge trade.
Seldom. Actually, that is probably the most like dangerous time to ever be in.
Yeah.
If you ever get in a revenge trade mode, guys, just leave. Leave at the very moment. Go to church. Go whatever's next to you. Go get your mind off of it. Because very rarely do you win the revenge trade.
The first time you combine coffee and nicotine. I've never been somebody with nicotine, so I'm gonna say no for this one.
Yeah, I don't think I've done because like when I got into like trading and stuff, I stopped smoking. I would smoke it when I would drink when I was younger. That's it. So no.
Yeah. Buying your first Bitcoin. I bought a whole Bitcoin in 2020 for 8K. That was like my thing, but that was like
yeah. So
yeah.
I've had
we've had 100%.
Well, more of like trading into it. I feel like
because in Bitcoin, that's how we take profit, right? So easily. Getting your first airdrop. I mean, my first airdrop. Oh, what was my first airdrop? My first airdrop Arbitrum.
Yeah, me too, dude. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's funny. Paying 3 months rent on ETH gas. I think I paid about $220, so I would say no for this one. Like, that was
not 3, cumulative for a month for sure.
Oh, cumulative maybe.
Yeah, maybe. But like not in one transaction.
Yeah.
I mean, I did some crazy stuff that I look back and I'm like, that is so stupid.
Seeing a teenager make doctor's salary in a day. Yeah, I mean that kid from Jupiter, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think we all kind of heard about that. Thinking this is the bottom twice a week. I mean, buying the top at a FOMO.
Yes.
I mean, 100%. Calling something a scam and then buying it a week later.
That was funny. That was funny. I'm pretty sure a lot of people have done that.
I've done that. Sending your net worth in one transaction. Sending your net worth in one transaction.
I don't think I've done that. I haven't done that because like I won't do that. Yeah, I'll split it up because I'm too nervous.
Yeah, 100%. Setting up your first ledger. I've set up a ledger. Have you set up a ledger?
Not the brand ledger, but like cold wallets. Yes.
Cold wallet. Yeah. Finding a random wallet with a lot of money in it. I think we've both done that, right? I've went to holy shit, where did this come from? From back when like we were DJing.
But like, what do you consider a lot of money though? Like maybe like
a couple $100. Okay. No, I guess that like I think at one time I found $750 that I don't remember ever putting in that wallet.
Yeah, I think maybe I've found like maybe 1,500 or something. Whenever like Ordinals was going nuts, and we actually had to use a lot of different wallets for testing and doing different things and stuff. So yes.
100%. Watching a friend make generational wealth from your call that you sold after 2x. I don't think I've seen that. Have you done that? 2x. No, I'm gonna say no.
Something that I took 2x on. No.
Maybe Sats for me. I think
you got out early.
Sats down pretty quickly, and you let it ride. So
I did.
Getting rugged by a 90s Windows Pixel website. Merlin starter. Yeah. 100%. Trying your first Web3 Ponzi game.
we gotta clarify that it wasn't like a hard rug. It was kind of like they like dissipated.
It was a slow rug.
Yeah, there you go.
A rug's a rug.
they stopped building. I think. I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know. But trying your first Web3 Ponzi game. What would we consider?
Everybody that was in 2021. Yeah. Like you talk about the EVM Ponzi, like chain jumping.
Switching to a new wallet for fresh energy. I've switched wallets, but I don't know if I did it for like fresh energy.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Getting your
Yes.
first whitelist. Yes, I think we both got
Yeah.
whitelist. Minting it and then selling it. Yes and yes, right? Meeting your online friend IRL for the first time, New York.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Your first crypto IRL event was probably New York for me, right? Was that yours first as well?
Maybe. Yeah. I think it was.
Round tripping 6 figs. I've definitely done that.
I don't want to talk anymore. this is gonna get bad.
All right, round tripping 7. I've never round tripped 7. I don't think
Yeah.
you've ever round tripped 8, right? So, eating figs. I don't know what that means.
Well,
Fig Newtons, maybe. I think we both had fig
yeah,
Newtons.
actually those aren't bad. It's surprisingly
good.
decent. Yeah.
Watching your cold wallet flip your bank account. Oh yeah, dude. I mean that happens every day. I mean my bank account is low. My crypto wallet is a lot higher than my bank account for sure. Telling your family about crypto and regretting it. Yeah, I mean I got my sister put like 15,000 into Bitcoin in like late 2021, and she had to watch it drop to about like 6,000.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
now
yeah.
she's still holding, and now it's like 35. But
Oh, nice.
yeah. So in 2022 was like that Thanksgiving was tough, but then 2024 it was like you're up again. So I'm sure you've done the same.
Yeah, a lot of times it was whenever I would be like at like an event and I'd have a couple drinks and then people would be talking to me, asking me, and then I would talk about it for like an hour and then I'd catch myself. I'd be like, people don't want to talk to me no more.
Losing sleep on a meme coin.
That's the worst.
Yeah, 100%. Staring at a 1-minute chart.
That's the worst. That's worse than the one before that.
Playing Pump It Up. You got to pump it up.
Oh
yeah. Getting socially engineered.
Not in crypto. Not in crypto. Okay. So like, actually, I don't think I've gotten socially engineered in anything. But so it's basically like they're walking you down to scamming you. You know what I mean? Through like X or whatever, through messages, and then you end up like sending them like your wallet, something, I don't know, out of your wallet. No.
Yeah. Finally understanding on-chain data. Yeah, I think I had that moment in like 2023, 2022, staring at like the Bitcoin mempool and stuff like that and understanding what was kind of happening.
Yeah.
And then watching Vitalik do anything. So.
Yeah. I mean, the dance, I guess. I don't know. Yeah,
I don't really know.
That was a weird one to end it.
Well, that was a little fun, and then we'll jump back to some news here. So President Trump's Truth Social files for Bitcoin and Ethereum ETF in NYSE, so it's official. They're officially going to be an ETF company. They got to do something because Truth Social's not working, right?
Yeah, and that's probably why they bought back some DJT too, right? Because I think that's the stock that backs it, right? So. Yeah, I mean, this will be big for them, right? I think they're kind of taking the MicroStrategy approach and saying, "Hey, look, MicroStrategy actually has successful product." Like I mentioned, my wife's company uses their software as a services.
Well,
and stuff.
They're doing both here. They're doing the microseller approach to Treasury company, and then they're also doing they want to compete with BlackRock about putting out their own ETF and Fidelity and so on and so on. So they're going full in on crypto for sure. The House has received the stablecoin bill, Genius Act, from the Senate on Monday afternoon. So yesterday they received it. I don't understand the government process on this. It was a House first, then it went to the Senate.
So the House committee just wanted to make sure that like before they sent it off to the Senate, like they were like, okay, this is all good, right? Let's make sure we cross all our T's, dot our I's. They look at it and they're like, okay, we voted. This is good. This is good to go through. Okay. Now they send it to the Senate. The Senate's the hardest part of it all. Is if they can get it passed by the Senate, the House is already like good to go. It's pretty much a green light. Then Trump signs it into law, and then we're good.
Well, the Senate had it, right? And now they just sent it back to the House?
Yeah, the Senate already passed it. They
vote. Why would it go back to the House then? Why is it?
It's preparing the document part. So it's the unofficial like voting. It's more of like okay, is this ready? Is this because the House committee is the one that handles the financial part of the stuff, right? So they're like the committee sends it over to them, they vote on it, and it comes back and they just do their final vote on it. And so this should be like a pretty much just procedural situation. Yeah.
So these two things here are kind of together. So SharkLink stock jumped 7% after a 30 million Ethereum buy. Now holds 188,000 Ethereum worth $475 million, all staked. That's the biggest thing here. All their Ethereum is staked, and they're earning 6% because they're staking themselves. They're not going the Lido route and earning the 4% with the liquid staking. They're putting their in a staking mechanism on ETH, and they're actually getting voting power to vote on the chain as well. So SharkLink, I mean, if they continue this, dude, they could be one of the biggest holders of Ethereum and have the most say in the voting and the governance.
Yeah, no, they could. So 7% of that is, man, I'm coming up with $32 million.
No. Their stock jumped 7%.
Oh shit!
After a 30 million Ethereum buy, now holds 188,000 ETH worth 475 million. So their stock is jumping, which allows them to sell more stock to buy more Ethereum to stake it and earn 6% a year.
So they're earning 6%. So it wouldn't be too far from that. It's 457 is the total amount staked too, right?
Yeah.
So they're earning like 27 million. Oh my god! Like talk about like
yearly.
Talk about a company that's like just added 27 million to their like revenue books, right?
And that's paid in ETH, right? So let's just say
ETH goes up.
ETH 10x's. I mean, $270 million, right? I mean, potentially.
Yeah. We need
yearly, like it could be. I don't know what the hell SharkLink does, but they could be one of the biggest companies in the world. Video game. Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
All right. So this kind of goes with this though, because we are seeing a lot of accumulation right now happening. And look at this chart. So this is Ethereum, right? As you can see, the accumulation has been very normal, just constant up, right? And then just recently, as of about, I want to say about March or April, it has just freaking jumped up, dude. The accumulation on ETH right here. Ethereum hit like 13,000 and everyone's like the bottom is in, and it's just been up only. And for the first time ever, it has actually crossed its price. This thing is like a rocket ship, dude. I think Ethereum is going to be one of the biggest hitters coming out of this next big push that we have from Bitcoin.
Yeah, and it's gonna be a sneaky one too, because there's so much like for everyday retail people. And I like besides us, because like we go over like the data and the news and stuff like that every day. So you guys got to pay attention because we're showing you what's happening behind the scenes. But the institutions know this, and they're probably loading up because they know there's going to be a point, like inflection point, right, to where it's like takes off. And I think that's going to be so good for like the overall market. Maybe not like some of these new tokens and stuff, but like the majority of the established ones, I think are going to benefit from something like this. Or once it takes off.
100%, dude. I'm so bullish on SharkLink right now. I mean, like go buy their stock at this point. I mean, they're going to be monsters. Pompliano's ProCap buys 1,208 more Bitcoin at 105,000, boosting holdings to 4,932 Bitcoin as it races toward a $1 billion treasury ahead of public listing. So they're trying to get $1 billion treasury before they actually go public with the SPAC. They're going to like the SPAC route. So they already own the SPAC, and now they're when it goes live on the stock market and officially signs the paperwork. I mean, this could be pretty big. So this is just another treasury company coming online. We do see guys like Adam Back kind of say this is Bitcoin treasury season. All coins are no more. But this is, to his point, I mean, another one.
He's bullish on them, right? Adam Back?
Bullish on Bitcoin treasury companies, yeah.
And he seems like a conservative dude. Like if you look at him, like his personality.
He's not putting money into him, right? He just wants them to buy Bitcoin to pump his bags.
Yeah, true. But I don't know. Like you do see some people like in that maximalist mindset that like warn against, like MicroStrategy too. They'll even talk against it because they're say like, oh man, like he's leveraging so much and all this stuff. But like, I don't know. I think this is actually kind of bullish for the treasury company industry, right? Is Adam Back? You get support from him. Yes, it does pump like the BTC bags and all that stuff. But if you get a green check or a green check from him, like a lot of people respect him. He's not this like loud maniac. Like he's like I get annoyed of Samson Mao, even though like some of Adam Back's stances are similar in the past from him. Like he just wouldn't be like all in your face like about it. Like Adam Back, wouldn't do that to you.
Yeah.
And so that's why I think he gets a lot more respect. So, but Pompliano, man, he's always been a pro BTC guy. Now he's in the Treasury game. So this is bullish.
Adam Back is one of those guys though who he doesn't own a home. He doesn't own a car.
He's weird.
He doesn't own anything. He owns one thing.
Backpack.
Well, two things. He owns Bitcoin. Three things. Probably a backpack, but he owns Bitcoin and he owns Blockstream. Like he doesn't buy these treasury assets. He doesn't do any of this, but he's bullish on it because he wants them to continually to buy his bags, right? So he's probably has more. He probably has more money than some of the bigger players in TradFi. Honestly,
well, he is a part. Isn't he a part of the other Lightning competitor?
Blockstream, yeah,
okay.
They're the ones building Liquid, but it's he doesn't own it. It's kind of like a decentralized thing.
But to me,
they're helping build it.
That's also kind of why I respect him a bit more too, because he's taking the Lightning kind of like this older approach, but he's still open-minded enough that realizes that innovation needs to happen there on Bitcoin and stuff like that. So even though he's a simple man in terms of like, doesn't need a bunch of stuff, not flashy at all, that type of guy, I think he's still open-minded to possibly want to see Bitcoin do bigger and better things in a safe way.
I mean, I think his goal from the beginning. He's one of the three people I think is Satoshi, right? So I think his goals always from the beginning is to make sure there's something that is a lifeline when the dollar goes to zero. So, but we'll see. Nasdaq listed Artura Mobile. Board of directors approved digital asset treasury strategy. So another one, bro, allocating up to 20% of its cash and equivalents to Bitcoin, Ethereum, Sol, and SUI. So this is the first time a publicly traded company has ever really said SUI. I mean, we've had Solana, obviously Ethereum with SharpLink, but now we got potentially going to have a treasury with SUI in it. Dude, it's getting ridiculous now. I mean, every headline is about these treasury companies, but then VanEck came out. Matthew Sigel warns of capital erosion risk for Bitcoin heavy corporate treasury. So VanEck is kind of coming out and saying we're worried about this.
Yeah, but they also had Pudgy Penguin mascot that was at the opening bell with them the other day. So like I think VanEck is like one of those like was it fund management companies in this TradFi world that is always try to like take the opportunity. They were one of the first that switched their logo to like the Benjamin Franklin Bitcoin logo or something. And so this could be just a strategy kind of statement, but I mean this is kind of in that other bucket of people that are saying, hey, this is getting kind of crazy, so we'll see.
Yep. And the final thing here I have is Xverse. So they posted this tweet this morning. Dog swap volume went beast mode with 544% up yesterday. Something cooking before Rune June ends. Top runes, and then they posted top runes. So and I hold every one of these, which is awesome. Dog go to the moon, Magic Internet Money, $1 billion cat, Gizmo, and Bitcoin Bro Bear. So these are the top by volume yesterday, and they're saying Dog's up 544% in volume yesterday.
Yeah, I mean everybody's reporting that, right? Dog is really getting aggressive in terms of holders and the social media kind of carousel. Like everybody's talking about it. Anybody that posts anything about meme coins, the Dog army just jumps in the comments automatically, just dominates it. So that's why you see these entities in our space, in the Web3 space, just kind of peeking over, saying, "Whoa, what's going on?" Especially the ones that aren't used to it. That's the most exciting thing to see. Is like if there's a like BSC gems or whatever, they're like I'll put like posting about Dog all the time now because they used to not, and now they are. So.
Yeah, I mean, some of these X accounts, they'll put a poll out, and Dog will win by like 96%, and they'll be like, "What? What's going on?" And then they'll just start posting Dog, and then they'll get all these damn comments and stuff like that. So, but let me ask your opinion though. Why do you think that Xverse put Bro Bear? I mean, obviously we can all agree on Dog, we can all agree on Magic Internet Money, all agree on $1 billion cat, but I don't see Pups up here. but I see Bro Bear.
Well, I mean, they're just giving you the data.
Yeah.
You know, for them,
But look, I don't even see Bro Bear though.
Yeah, but remember, bro, you got to remember, like they don't only source from Magic Eden. You know, they source from Dot Swap, they source from Rune's Dex, they source from all these other swaps and stuff, and they might be using Sats Terminal as the aggregator. But with that being said, just because it's not showing as a top one on Magic Eden doesn't mean that it's not a top one overall for them. And so I think that's probably why. I actually hold all of those except for number 2, which I'm thinking about picking some up.
Which one's number 2? Magic Internet Money. Yeah. I got a
not
little bit of
Magic Internet
Money,
but
gotta nothing. I mean, we're not telling you to buy any runes whatsoever. Maybe dog. I'll tell my friends to buy dog. So I can't find it here, but we do know that Bro Bear is on. It's over here, right? Bro Bear is there. It is
right there.
It's one of the few runes on Odin that actually have pushed up above here. It's trading about. It did get wrecked, I think, though, didn't it? With liquidity or something.
Yeah, the initial liquidity providers did kind of pull some there, so it did hit that initial threshold. But for it to continually thrive, you need on Odin at least. You probably need to add some liquidity there.
For sure. All right, but that is that's our show for you guys today. So we're going to be jumping over to our next segment here. So every Wednesday we like to have the guys over at Sats Terminal join the show. Sats Terminal, if you guys don't know what they're building an aggregator. When I say aggregator, you might be thinking, well, what's that? Think 1inch. Remember 1inch over in Ethereum? What 1inch used to do, they will still do. They go to and make sure that you guys are getting the best prices. So if, let's just say, there's another swap out there that is giving you the best price on something, Sats Terminal will actually go and get that for you. So right now they're aggregating Magic Eden, Dot Swap, Rune's Dex, and anything that pops up online. They're probably going to be aggregating that as well. So Sats Terminal is definitely something to be paying attention to. And remember, they are giving the reward points, which is called Amber. And think of it kind of like, they won't say this, but think of it kind of like Magic Eden Diamonds, right? So in that sense of what happened with the Diamonds could possibly happen with Amber. That's kind of what I'm betting on. And that is why every time I buy runes, I'm buying it through Sats Terminal. So without further ado, let's bring up Cyclops. Cyclops, welcome back to OnChain Revolution. Thanks so much for being here, sir.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
It's going well, man.
To also note, we also do alkanes, so we had a huge space today with alkanes.
We saw that you guys had a space with them. That's going to be one of the topics we get into here in a second. But I want to kind of get your, I guess, like where you are in terms of your gauge of like market sentiment. Obviously it's probably everywhere, right? Over the weekend we saw this huge dump that came from a headline. Everybody went from being okay to depressed. Then you got Monday, and then you have the president come out saying it's over, peace, everybody's good, ceasefire. Then complete reversal, and now we're seeing like back on track where we were. So where is the gauge for you personally? Because you're obviously got that degen side of you. What are you thinking right now in terms of the market, where it's headed?
So I do throw in sometimes like the leverage trade because it's so crazy. So sometimes it goes really well, sometimes it goes horribly. I just always have your stop losses. That's what
Hold on. I got two questions here because I didn't know that about you. Are you a 5x guy or are you a 15x guy?
Oh, I'm like a 10 to 15x, and then I set my stop loss. Like I do like limit orders, and then I'm like very strict with my stop losses because the moment it goes out of control and you're like freaked out and you like can't go to sleep watching this thing almost liquidate.
Yeah, for sure.
Are you leverage traders too?
So I am, but I guess you could probably tell maybe more like in our like meetings for show prep if I'm like winning or losing, because I'm either like a little bit lifeless if it's not good, or I'm extra energetic if it's not. No, I'm just I'm just messing around. Yeah, I like to dabble, but then if I go through like a bad session, when I say session, I'm talking about like, you know, a week's worth of trading or something, then I'll detach myself for a good minute. And I think that just helps me overall, right? But you know, this weekend, and that's why it's dangerous to trade on the weekends because of Saturday. I mean, like, you know, I mean, weekends are probably made to go out and go do stuff and not sit at home and try to be like, get it. Let me find a good entrance and, you know, set my exit here and all that stuff, because you're going to constantly be worried about it. But yeah, you know, the weekend happened, and it seems like we're back on track. But do you feel like, you know, that was completely only headline driven and that our sentiment is back to more of a positive sentiment here, finishing off the summer?
So I could be totally wrong about this because the world is big, but in the West, it's like unbelievably hot right now. And so sometimes, like, I always just think of, because I used to live in like Brooklyn, and like, you know, like the cops used to say, like when it gets hot, like everybody gets irritable, crime goes up. I wonder if that is a part into like how trading going, because it's like extra hot in the U.S. right now. There's like a heat dome. Like over the weekend, it's not as bad as it was during the weekend. I thought it was going to be even worse, but like the weekend was like, if I went outside, my glasses would like fog up, and it was like
Oh, wow.
100 degrees and in a bowl of soup. So like and so I was like installing air conditioners all weekend. But like it's like I just also think like sometimes that plays into it, because I just don't even want to look at the chart sometimes. I'm like I can't even deal. But yeah, like I mean I just, it's like we're at war, we're not at war. I don't even know what the current state is. Are we at war again? Like, or are they
I think
like
we're in
doing a
peace.
ceasefire?
What'd you say, Shizzy? We're at peace.
I think we're at peace. I don't know. Like,
we're at cease. We're at ceasefire.
Ceasefire. Yeah.
No.
We're still at the ceasefire, because like they said that, and then they were like, we're not actually at the ceasefire.
Yeah. And then you had go ahead.
No, Trump said that last night. It was on the plane. He was like that. He was like, Putin called and said, "How can he help with Iran?" And Trump goes, "Well, no, you can help me with like you."
That was funny. That was funny.
So it's like you forget that Russia
man,
and Ukraine are in war right now, right? So it's like,
it's funny when he's the one that's acting like the adult in a sense, right? He's like, "Hey, man, I just need you to be acting straight so I can worry about your brothers or whatever." But yeah, that was pretty funny. But like, what does this also mean for the Bitcoin ecosystem though? Like as a builder, because like, you know, obviously whenever it crashed, you saw, you know, the Runes ecosystem and probably some of the Alkane's ecosystem kind of crash a bit. Now we're seeing some life back in. Like, do you feel like this is kind of like it's just following Bitcoin? It's like, okay, Bitcoin crashes, we're going to crash really hard. If Bitcoin bounces back, we're going to bounce back really hard. What's the sentiment there?
I mean, I just know like maybe the numbers aren't going to be as great, but like it's like if I worried about it, like you would just never get anything done.
Yeah.
And I just feel like that's like all of the markets, and that's probably like how it was back in 2018 when they were making DeFi on ETH, because it was probably like a roller coaster then too. It's just like if you like I had a friend who ran a like really successful restaurant in the city, and like he mentored me when I was younger, and so he said, like if you start a restaurant and you think of like the 20,000 other restaurants, like and like all the ways that it could go wrong, you're just gonna fail because it just looks grim.
Yeah.
So you just have to. It's just like you're gonna have to just build no matter what, because I don't think it's forever at all. Like I think Bitcoin DeFi is inevitable.
Yeah.
It's just a weird
I
time.
mean, that's what it seems like it's heading towards for sure. And it's a frustrating period, I think, for someone that's like a retail user in the market, because, you know, first of all, we are going through that DeFi build out phase that Ethereum went through, and we've talked to several people, whether it's you or people that have been through that process during when ETH was building out. Jay Gallen's another person. They had like these marketplaces that trading experience was horrible, and but you believe in it still. And so like whenever you buy runes, like, you know, and you're like, oh, runes are bouncing back, even though I'm having this horrible UI experience, I believe in it. And then all of a sudden, like, it crashes down. And so I think there's going to be like this moment to where the bull market is fully here, and now will all be worth it going through that up and down part. But let's move on to this next topic here, the fungible arms race, right? You know, I know we talked a little bit about this last week, but Runes has been in the spotlight with Kraken. You cannot deny that. Dog Go to the Moon has been extremely strong, socially the strongest, in my opinion, of all the memes right now, outside of Bitcoin too. But, you know, it's Runes. It's still in this innovative process. Kraken has brought it in and said, we're going to help kind of this movement move along, which has been amazing. Listing is, you know, speculated to happen this Friday. But then you see something growing on this Alkane's side of things with this token standard, and the Chinese community is big, and you guys just did a space with them. And I know as an aggregator, you're supporting both. You're here to support the community. But what standard do you think is going to steal that spotlight once it is time for game on? Bull market here, number go up.
You know, it's so hard to say what's going to end up working, like, because I think, you know, like, they're also like very different in so many ways. So like Alkane's, it's like this meta protocol and these tokens that work with that, and then there's Runes, which can always just convert to that. And so I think it's like I look at everything, and it's like we have brands, you know, and it's those brands can live on any token standard at the end of the day. It's just hard to say because it's just like emerging, and like I can't dictate the market, you know, like the market is just the market, and you can't control that. I mean, there's what I would want, and then there just is what it is. And as long as the market picks it up, I think even Farmer Joe was saying that the other week too. It's just you just can't control the market, and the market is just going to decide what works at the end of the day. But I am excited for the dogs Rune like listing on Kraken. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
Leonidas was like on the ad basically.
Right? That was cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was really
Yeah,
cool.
man.
What about you, Shizzy? Like, he said something really interesting about we have brands here. That kind of stuck out to me. Do you agree with that? Like, brands, if brands
Yeah,
can
I
just
mean-
be strong, they can just exist no matter what.
I mean, 100%, dude. Like, Dog is a brand. Dog is the biggest brand. You know, when you just cash tagging Dog on X, you're pumping that brand, right? And what do they bring? I mean, you know, according to the government, meme coins are collectibles at the end of the day, right? So if they're collectibles, you know, holding this much Dog is holding a, you know, you're collecting Dog, right? So at that point, yeah, 100% their brands are like Power Rangers at this point, right? Or you know, or Pokemon cards or Magic Gathering cards. It's kind of very similar to that. So you're all right. I mean, let's just say Alkane's does win. $1 billion cat Dog, they can easily just be an Alkane, right? I mean, you can build bridges, you can burn, you can, you know, and stuff like that. But so Runes and Alkanes, you know, they're competitors, but they're not. Like, Runes is kind of more of that, you know, that sense of safety. Like, I'm not worried about something waking up and worrying about something happening to Runes, right? But with Alkanes and have something brand new to smart contracts, I mean, we can wake up and this smart contract just, you know, get hacked, right? And then you're seeing a whole bunch of stuff happening. So, but again, they're so different, but it's awesome to have both of them because you do have the you know, Alkanes can become this big thing, and then Runes are just kind of your collectibles. So
Yeah.
how do you feel about it?
Yeah, so I don't know how to view this situation other than what my experience has been in the past, right? In the past, for me, I've seen these layer twos being birthed from Ethereum, and with Bitcoin, meta protocols kind of resemble a similar experience. But I've also seen meta protocols kind of fail, and then we know the history of the failed ones in the past. You could go all the way back as far as like Mastercoin, right? Like in 2012 or 12 or 13. And then you go to OmniLayer, then you go to Counterparty. And so, but I don't think there's ever been like a focus on meta protocols ever in history like there is now. with investments pouring in. So if they can get the meta protocols that are active and successful right now to a point of investment and stability and marketing growth to where they can kind of take on their own lives, that's the most important thing, I think, for the Bitcoin meta protocols. That's what can create like this L2 environment similar to Ethereum's L2s, right? But I think we really need to have that happen.
Yeah, 100%. But last week, Stats Terminal, you guys had a huge announcement, right? You guys are going to be working now with Magic Eden. Let's just say you want to buy $10 worth of dog. Before you couldn't do that, right? There's no the thing there. You're kind of out of luck. You got to either find more money or something. But now with Stats Terminal, kind of being with Magic Eden and partnership with Magic Eden, now you guys can aggregate that for from DotSwap or RuneStacks or wherever. I'm curious, have you guys seen any productivity in the back end? Is there a lot of like things happening? Like you guys see it on chain?
Yeah, so I think it's really cool. Magic Eden, like, there's so many like people just doing small trades, which is, and it's just to be able to see it, so it's not fire.
I think
It's just
breaking up a
seeing
bit there, Cyclops.
small trades over and over and over again. Oh yeah, I think it's really exciting because watching Magic Eden, there's just a lot of smaller trades, which I think is really cool. Like I think that's kind of the market that needs to get unlocked too. And just seeing that volume start to come in, I think it's pretty exciting for sure. And like Magic Eden,
So
it's
you
I
are
think what
seeing
got
a lot
me
more value.
excited too was when you go on. Because you're seeing it's really cool if you go on you go to the swap and you do a small amount, you're going to see that it goes through like Magic Eden, then it goes through uses Sats terminal, and then the end result is like dot swap. And I think that's just really interesting because it's just more of a cooperation. And I think like the way I see it, Alkanes is it's very easy for the space to get divided and like fight over standards, and it's like I think right now I don't think it's to the benefit of Bitcoin DeFi as a whole for everyone to be like, I need this to fail in order like to be 0-7. I think it's just more we need to get Bitcoin DeFi working really well, and the market is just going to decide. But like I think if it's just more like people embraced it and just kept an open mind to everything, I think that's what's going to help us evolve, as opposed to being like it has to I just don't see why it has to fail for the other to succeed right now, at least. Like it's just we're just too young of a space to really go there, and I think it's just cool that like it's happening. And I didn't know that there were meta protocols all the way from like 2013. But is it, and correct me if I'm wrong, is it that ordinals like kind of allowed more information to come into like a meta protocol that makes it a little bit different this time?
Yeah, I think the on-chain economy, like explosion on Bitcoin happened with ordinals, as opposed to before. And you have to also remember these meta protocols were launched before DeFi. So you're talking about like, 2012, 2013, 2015, all the way up to whenever they stopped really doing it. And then like 2017, the Ethereum launched and started developing. And then 2021, they completely took the spotlight away from anything that was being built on Bitcoin. Because it was slow. It wasn't even great. And plus, they didn't even want it. You know what I mean? Like, there was a lot of resentment from what we were hearing, the backstories from Bitcoin developers that were kicked out of Bitcoin, and forced to build somewhere else because these maxis didn't want them building here. Now it's more of a embracement, I think, like embracing some of these developers. So that's why I think it's different this time. And I think we can trust this run of Bitcoin meta protocols. And who knows, maybe Counterparty has a revival, which would be really cool because Rare Pepes and the first NFTs were on Bitcoin. So I think we got to respect that.
On Bitcoin, I think there were a lot of it, but like it's my lack of, like, I'm learning this all as I go.
What was your question?
Like the Rare Pepes, I thought that was like on another chain at first, but I didn't know it started on Bitcoin.
No. I believe it started on Bitcoin, right? We know like the first art ever was obviously on Bitcoin, I believe, right? Shizzy, because you go back to like the first op return transaction was like an art, I believe.
Rare Pepes were like considered the one of the first entities, but punks were the first ones traded on Ethereum, I believe, or you know. Because they're so impossible. They're hard to trade. Like so, we were doing a tutorial for Jake, and he was like, "Hey, I'll send you some rare Pepes." And I had to download this Horizon wallet, and then the wallet didn't have like the rare Pepe wallet, so I had to actually like go to free wallet and then get the seed phrase from there and put it in her. They did not make it easy for you to even to today to collect these things unless you go on Ethereum and buy them through Emblem Vault.
Yeah.
Cool. Because I talked to Diogo, who I think is like an expert on that stuff. But like, it's so hard to find the documentation.
Yeah. I mean, we know that like from what we've heard, like rare Pepes were birthed on Counterparty, and which is a Bitcoin meta protocol, and I think it launched in 2015 or something like that. But
yeah,
Leonidas actually is a NFT historian, so he actually was really heavy into the old Bitcoin NFTs and stuff. But look, maybe in the future, all this stuff gets tied together, and I do think like you'll have to look back at Ordinals and say, "Hey, thank you, Ordinals, for kind of bringing the development back to Bitcoin." Oh, here's Memetics. This guy's definitely gonna know. He came into the chat. Memetics has entered the chat. He says, "Rare Pepe started on." You got to give us the answer, brother.
Yeah, he's making you wait for it.
I want it to be like something like I don't know, Master Coin or something weird like that.
Well, while we wait, let's take a look at the Stats Terminal site here. You guys do have some new quests here. I see a Fartane quest. That's a new one, right?
Yeah. So I think it's really cool because what I learned also on the space that we have, a lot of it is like heavy in the Chinese community. They have a really funny sense of humor, given that like the tokens are like Fartane, boobs, and all these things. And I think like, and I want to get on there more. I just need to figure out a good way to auto translate, but like WeChat is where a lot of like alkanes takes place. So we're really excited about that. And you can also make widgets of.
Wait, what?
So we also want to start going into. If you look at our latest tweet, we unveiled it in the space. But basically, it was what we had in Runes, where you can, and that's kind of how we started. Was you had these widgets that you can customize, and so you can also do that for alkanes, and so for alkanes projects to be able to have that would be really cool. Is just a way to like kind of help facilitate the whole trading that happens.
This is it right here.
So if you look at the link there, yeah, if you look at the link there, you can even just test it out yourself. Oh, it's like the reply to it, but yeah, that's like the video.
Okay.
Cool. So basically, they added the alkanes theme to the Stats Terminal front end. Is that what that looks like?
So you could put up I think it's 600 by I forget the thing. If you actually look at the reply to that, because it's a thread.
It's right here.
Yeah, you can put a skin. Any Runes project or anyone can put a different skin to be there and change like the UI so that the buttons can be different colors and you can add your own logo at the bottom. We've always had that as a way because like originally, like somebody with Rashab, that's how I first started working there. He was like, like maybe there's a way for cats to trade, like there's an affiliate program, and I was like, oh, can you guys like make a widget? And so it was like a way to like totally customize it to like however you want. And so anybody can put that because it's embeddable HTML code. They could just put that on their site. So we just wanted to encourage that.
So I'm on the widget here. Like, how do I make it change? How do I change it? Or no,
what do you want to change?
This is the methane one, right? Like,
oh, we have a back end, so that's something that could be on like a methane site.
Gotcha. I gotcha.
Yeah. Or we can make QR codes that can open that widget within a specific wallet if the wallet allows for it. to open there. So we know Xverse for sure. Like you can make Xverse links. I think probably you can do Sats, Unisat, and probably Oil. They'll have that, and it'll
Gotcha.
open up in a browser as long as there's a browser in there.
Nice, nice. Memetics came back and said Rare Pepe started on Counterparty in 2016. So he is definitely a Counterparty Rare Pepe fan and a part of that emblem community. So appreciate you, Memetics, for that information. But last thing I was going to ask you is there anything else on the roadmap that maybe we could go over that's coming up? I know we've covered a lot, you know, from this week and last week, but not sure if there's anything you can maybe speak to the audience about.
Yes, so soon for Alkanes, it's when it gets finished, the AMMs are going to be available. We are in the middle of integrating Unisat within within our aggregator too, which started integrating Alkanes. We will be having bridging that's coming up, along with other stuff, which is really exciting that we've seen on the back end. Just can't fully, I just don't know because Stan or Rashad isn't here, so I don't know what I can fully divulge in that sense.
Gotcha.
But
No worries.
but yeah, we have stuff coming like very soon in the next few, like if not weeks, it'll probably be in like.
Gotcha. Okay, so real quick, the AMM, you're speaking about Alkane's AMM, right?
Within
So
ID.
are you, is that something that you're excited about? Do you feel like that's going to be a pretty good user experience?
I believe so because it's like when we first announced, like we first integrated dot swap and rune stacks, it just allowed you to people to be able to sell. So there's a lot of requests for people to also be able to sell. So until you can go both ways, there's just that friction that's going to happen. So that should just make it more tradable. Let people kind of do their degen alpha things, and just kind of have it be like a space so it can mature.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that's obviously the next step of evolution for Alkanes is to be able to have an AMM and obviously to be able to sell. Right now, there's not too much of a difference between BRC 20 runes and Alkanes, right? In terms of like these blocks that we're we're selling, and but that's going to change the game there. But Cyclops, man, appreciate your time. I know you guys are extremely busy. Like to give you kind of the last word here to the audience of anything you want to kind of break down for them for Sats Terminal.
No, just make sure that you can trade your alkanes and runes on Sats Terminal. You will be earning Amber. Can't say exactly what it is, but you know, like I'm pretty sure people won't regret getting Amber. So, and we're trying to give as much value with that. So yeah, like just keep trading, and then the market, it goes up, it goes down. It's like, I mean, I think if it's on Bitcoin, if you just look at the history of Bitcoin, it's not going to do poorly. So, and if you just see the sheer amount of builders who are building in the background, it's pretty reassuring to me because everybody's just kind of working together, everybody's building, and nobody really thinks too much about the market sentiment.
Yeah. And that's straight from a builder that goes to events that meets other builders, guys. So, I mean, look, Shizzy and I see the same thing. Tons of builders in this ecosystem. Be excited about that. And then also, he just mentioned, you know, if it's in Bitcoin, I would say, remember what he said about the big brands. I think that's very important, right? If you're going to believe in something here, it's believe in the big brands because they've built their brand up there. But appreciate you, Cyclops. Every Wednesday, you and your team jump on and speak to our audience in the Bitcoin community, and we look forward to the next time you're on with us.
Thanks for having me.
All right, take it easy.
Thanks, man.
Take care.
Bye.
Well, absolutely awesome to have you guys on. Guys, remember, just going over to Sats Terminal, all you got to do is go over, launch app, right? And then just connect your wallet. You'll immediately get 1,000 Amber. for just connecting your wallet. Like, that's it. Make a few trades, 100%. I think you should do that as well. But just go over and collect your wallet. And Stan from Stats Terminal has said in the past that they're going to stop that. Eventually down the line, you're not going to be able to get 1,000 for just signing up. So definitely go over there right today, statsterminal.com, and then check that out for sure. But that's our show, guys. We have 250 people on YouTube and X, not to mention everyone on Twitch, Abstract, Rumble, Kick, and Spotify later. Appreciate every single one of you guys.
Absolutely. We definitely appreciate your support watching us. It allows us to do what we love to do every day. Come on the show, break down, the market, have fun with you guys. But also, our partners help us in terms of being able to do this as well. So if you could check them out, we greatly appreciate it as well. We just went over Sats Terminal. You just head over to Sats Terminal if you're looking to trade runes or alkanes, guys. And I know Cyclops didn't want to say it, but Stan has said it on the show. It's the Amber is going to be some sort of give back in terms of early adopters. He has said that for sure. So that's where I'll leave that alpha. You can follow the Amber is Forever campaign to kind of see where you can get your multiplied opportunities there. But you're going to find the most liquid and best price tokens at satsterminal.com, whether it's Doggo to the Moon, $1 Billion Cat, or these alkanes like Mist and Methane, Fartane, which is a funny one. But yeah, and looking forward to the support of the AMM that's going to be coming for alkanes as well. Head over to satsterminal.com today. And then BetBTC is the predictions marketplace for the Bitcoin ecosystem. All you need is a Bitcoin wallet, some Bitcoin, and 6 Bitcoin blocks. You can start placing bets in their Blitz markets. Their Blitz markets is a market that allows you to get 10 minutes to kind of lock in a price for either Bitcoin, BNB, or Solana to where you think it's going to either go down or up. You select the direction, and then you get an additional 10 minutes to see if you were right or wrong there. And then in the future, very near future, they're going to be adding create your own markets, guys. These guys are working right now. They're getting ready for the mainnet launch. But you're going to be able to create your own markets. And then if you have a social following and you're good at that, you can earn 1.5% of the total volume placed in your custom market. If you refer a friend, you're going to earn 1% of the total transactional volume there. Exciting stuff coming from this team. Make sure you're following them on X, staying up to date there. Go to betbtc.win today to dive into their docs and learn more about them. And then Emblem Vault is the interoperability layer for the Bitcoin ecosystem, more specifically focused on ordinals. You're going to be able to bridge your ordinals, or I should say jump is the function, from Bitcoin layer 1 to Ethereum. Right now, they have the Taproot Wizard collection that you can actually do that right now. You actually can do Rare Pepes as well, but they're going to add support to Base, to Abstract, to possibly Merlin, and we know Solana's on that roadmap as well in the future. And you're going to be able to use their AI agent Hustle to help you do that. Once they add the Bitcoin tech stack, you can jump Bitcoin ordinals to all these other environments using him. But right now, you can use Hustle to help you through the jungles of Solana. You need some trench, soldiers with you, and Hustle is one of those. If you ask them for research information about tokens, I just ask him, hey, what's the safest 5x? He's going to give you a couple options and why he picked them. It's a really awesome AI tool to kind of be your guide through Solana. But I'm excited about the future support they're going to add to it. Bitcoin's tech stack and possibly the EVM side as well. They did announce that they are doing a migration of the Tensor token to the new Hustle token. There's many reasons why they are wanting to do this. It's going to benefit the holders and the community there. But right now you can use Hustle for free. But in the very near future, there's going to be a business model, a token implementation into it. So test it out now and see if you like it. If not, then no worries. You tested it out, right? You can go to agent hustle.ai to check it out. And then don't forget they have a TGE Rune event in September or October. Is going to be in that time frame to where they release their Rune. If you head over to OpenSea, you can actually go search for Founder Vault keys and you can participate in their pre-sale. It is an NFT and ERC 721. But as we get closer to September, they're going to give you guys instructions on how to get those runes into your Bitcoin wallet. Head over to emblem.vision today. That is their updated site to where you can learn about all these products and about their team. And then Artura.finance is the perps and leverage DEX of the Bitcoin ecosystem. If you're looking to get leverage and play these Bitcoin fungibles, you got to do it at Artura.finance. They're going to have Doggo to the Moon, $1 Billion Cat, all the popular ones on the Bitcoin side, as well as possibly Ordi and Sats, the BRC20s, because those are popular as well. We'll see if they add support to alkanes. We'll see how big alkanes gets, but they said they're open-minded to that. But you're going to be able to trade the tokens outside of the ecosystem, like XRP, the traditional ones, Tau, Ethereum. If you're not into trading, you can participate by adding liquidity to their vaults and earn passively that way. But just know that if you do use their platform, know that they have an XP system, so you can earn points, and that's going to go towards a future give back as well. And they're going to be launching on Botonics first. Botonics is a spider chains, the Bitcoin layer 2. They're going to be doing a co-promotion with them, so make sure you're following their X so you learn all about that. The Botonics co-promotion part is going to be amazing, as well as the Artura one. Artura one is going to be about the XP, but the Botonics one, make sure you're following Botonics and Artura and us, because we're going to dive into that for sure, do tutorials on that. After that, they're going to be launching on Hemi Bitcoin layer 2. So make sure that you guys are up to date with this. This is going to be really, I think, a big time in our space once the Bitcoin layer 2s really start to launch one after another, and they're going to be all a part of that. Head over to artura.finance, join their Discord. They have some experienced traders there to give you guys tips as well. And then Fluid Tokens is the UTXO wizard devs. They are constantly innovating on Cardano and Bitcoin. Cardano, the most recent product release has been the aquarium, where you can actually go and participate over there, and you don't have to use ADA as gas, and they allow you to do that, and you can earn Babel fees by participating in that system, right? And then on the Bitcoin side, they actually are offering staking vaults to Bitcoin layer 1. They were the first to do this for retail users, right? They had Dog Go to the Moon season 1 and season 2, where dog holders can earn more dog by staking your dog. So if you participate in season 2, make sure you claim your rewards for your dog tokens, and you'll be able to get your original dog tokens and the rewards in one transaction. They're going to have a season 3 coming pretty soon. I would say late July, early August. So make sure that you guys are updated for once that goes live, you can participate there. If you are a founder of a ordinal collection and you have runes that you want to drop to your ordinal community, you can do so with their airdrop tool. It's actually a tab on their menu there. It says airdrop. You can actually participate by using a CSV file, which is from Google Sheets or Microsoft Excel, that's pre-propagated with all the addresses, or you can do it manually one by one and accumulate, or just add all the addresses up there one by one. It's really convenient, it's cost effective, and it's very quick. So make sure you use that if you're looking to airdrop runes there. Head over to fluidtokens.com, join their Discord as well. They have a team waiting for anybody that's looking to open a staking vault. All you have to do is have an established community there. And then Tokyo Wallet is the multi-chain smart wallet, building for the best UI and UX for users. They support Cardano and Bitcoin currently, but they are going to be adding more ecosystems. Make sure you follow their X account so you can see, are up to date with their most recent announcement with the most recent ecosystem they support. But if you have an iPhone, head over to the Apple App Store. If you have an Android, head over to the Google Play Store. You can download the apps at both those places. Test it out. See, if there's any features you want added or anything like that. Let us know. But you can actually swap for runes directly in their application. Shizzy and I created a tutorial, a very short one, but if you go to our library in the YouTube side, you can see it there. It shows you how to swap for Dog Go to the Moon. Dog Go to the Moon is hot, but there's also other runes there you can do. It's very simple process. They partnered with Sats Terminal to make that possible within their app. And they also partnered with an aggregator on the Cardano side to make sure that you guys can swap for Cardano tokens like, Fluid or SNEC, stuff like that. And that's the whole idea, right? To make it a one-stop shop, guys. There's even an alpha section there, so you don't have to leave. You can watch us directly from the app. So it's exciting. Head over to Tokyo.io to dive in there and join their community as well. And then Merlin Chain is uniting Bitcoin strength with the power of AI. They have their Wizard 0.3 version, which is their latest Wizard AI you can use to kind of guide you through the Merlin ecosystem. The Wizard actually can do DeFi functions on your behalf. You can swap, you can stake, you can do other functions as well there. Learn about the Wizard app directly at merlinchain.io. But speaking of staking, if you want to be a part of their proof of stake to help secure the chain, you have 3 options now. Number 1, the Bitcoin side, if you got in early. Yesterday, they opened it. Maximum limit was 50 total Bitcoin. It filled up in 27 minutes. They actually extended it to 100. I believe it's probably full already. But you can earn between 8 and 21% there, APR. But if you want to just participate in the daily or the 6-month lock with Merle, you can do so. The daily is called the flexible. It does, if you want to withdraw in the flexible, it does take 7-day period. That's just part of their process. But you can actually withdraw your rewards on a daily basis in the flexible or the bonded. The flexible is the day-to-day, you earn 15% APR. The bonded is a 6-month lockup, but you earn 45% APR. And again, you can withdraw the rewards on a day-to-day basis, guys. Merlin is constantly adding new partnerships and increasing their brand, their strength, their TVL with their MBTC, and now adding Bitcoin staking. So they are in the game, guys. Head over to merlinchain.io today. And then don't forget about our integrated partners and Jungle, formerly Foxy AI, building the metaverse on Bitcoin called the Bitverse, and their first-person shooter game called Cypher Striker. And they added support to Bitcoin Derby as well. They are also building a game developer launchpad to where if you want to develop a game but you don't have the developer skills, you can actually utilize their templates and their AI tooling there to help you customize your version of that, and you can launch a coin with that as well through their launchpad that they're building right now. So follow them for more updates there. And then Ordinal Hive is the aggregator Ordinal marketplace for the Bitcoin ecosystem. You're going to find the cheapest ordinals around at Ordinal Hive. They're going to be adding all types of new features as well. They have their live mempool insights to where you can actually see if someone accidentally fat fingered a node monk, you can grab it out of the mempool right then and there. But thank you guys so much for checking out our partners. We greatly appreciate it. It helps us be able to do what we love to do every day.
Yep. Great job, man. And if you guys have a few more minutes, I wouldn't mind checking out OnChainRevolution.io. They have some of the best articles dating all the way back to 2023. If you know someone just trying to catch up, just trying to learn, send them our website. We have so many different articles you can check out here and go through every single one of them. And you kind of get a feel for where we're at during that time, right? If you go back to articles that we did in, April of 2023, you could see that runes were the next big thing, and they are today. It did take a year, but they are today. And we got Dog going to Kraken in 2 days. Find out everything you need to know in this brand new article that just dropped. Check this out right here. Meet Dog, the viral Bitcoin meme token that launched fair. No VCs, no insiders, no BS. Check that article out as soon as possible. And if you guys need a VPN, highly recommend Nord. I use it every single day. So what Nord does is it protects your IP. Meaning it protects your home address. So every home or every internet connection is giving an IP address, right? That is to track you. But by using a VPN, you are using privacy. It actually gives you an IP of somewhere else. So when you go to sites that don't let's say geo-blocking you, meaning we don't want no Americans using our site, they can do that. But with a VPN, you can get around that, and that is not up to your country. That is something that the website is doing itself, and we don't got to go by their rules. We can just make our own, and having a VPN gives you that privacy and gives you that capability if you are interested, and it's super cheap. So there is free VPNs out there. They're okay. I had a lot of problems with them. For me, I'm paying the $3 a month and getting a Nord VPN. Definitely go to our site, though, and get it, because if you go to Nord, they're going to charge you $10. But we have a 70% off coupon where you can get it for $3. Lock it in for 2 years. Set it, forget it. I think I paid $66 when it's all said and done, and I'll see you in 2 years, and I can just use the VPN whenever I need it. You can put it in your Google up here as well, and you can just go on and off as you want to. Definitely recommend always having it on, though. And then if you guys need some merch for events or anything, really, check out all of our merch stuff. I mean, especially if you're big in the ordinals and runes, we are the place to go. But we do have normal stuff as well. So we got a bunch of stuff, Bitcoin t-shirts and all types of cool stuff here. Check everything out here at OnChainRevolution.io. And guys, we are live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Pacific, and 3 p.m. UTC. Check us out all week, guys. And until tomorrow.
Peace.
OnChain Revolution roll call. Market recap. You not bullish enough, no. You're not bullish enough, no. Look at the price go, Bitcoin control. Why you still coping? Price action rolling. Don't fall for bear trap. Swapping indexes and putting it up in the sex. I can take profit right now. OnChain is where I be now. You can never look back. They don't want you to know. How did the market react? Fear and greed gotta adapt. Now we bridging the tokens and watching the network right now. You know how crazy we are. Nookies are savages now. They know how crazy we are. Chain abstraction, main attraction. OnChain